actually true. Okay, no, it says we're not live yet. But there's a little bit of a delay, so that's probably what's going on. Okay, well, it says it's starting up. Let's see. Okay, cool. You're live now. I guess let's go tweet it out. Going through Twitter, try and find the tweet that I just tweeted. This is not always the easiest interface to figure out. It's a bit slow because I got a lot of tabs open. Okay, blah 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 blah. Let's make sure I have the link. It's important to give people the links. Okay, so I have no idea how many people are actually watching this. Oh, I have 4 viewers. Awesome. Hey, hello out there. Hello out there in internet land. So I guess I should just start off by explaining what exactly I was thinking of doing in this, like what the point of this was in the first place. It was 2 things. It was number 1 that I was looking at all my notifications on GitHub, and I was just kind of slowly going through them, as you do on a Saturday afternoon when it's sunny outside and it could be outside doing other things. And I was thinking to myself, like, maybe this would be a bit more fun if I did a live stream, because, you know, the internet has proven, especially Twitch has proven, that no matter how mundane or dull the subject matter might seem to be, there is a dedicated cohort of people out there who will watch you do it. There are people who will watch you speedrun Super Mario Brothers 100 times in a row trying to beat the world record, you know, and getting like milliseconds within the world record and not quite reaching it and then just resetting the clock and starting again. Or there are people who just watch you do that. I feel like maybe it'd be kind of neat to show what it's like for someone doing open source work, because, you know, before I got into open source, it was kind of mysterious to me. Like, people are doing this work for free, I guess, and it's kind of weird, right? Who are these people? And then when I got into it, it just became really natural for me, and it made a lot of sense. But I feel like maybe there's a lot of people out there who are kind of curious about what it's actually like what a day in the life of an open source maintainer is. And so that's why I'm doing this. How's the sound quality, by the way? I wonder if anyone is... No one is chatting with me. It's a bad sign. Oh, we have more viewers, though. If you want to chat with me, you should use the pouchdb Slack channel is probably the best way. Or you can just ping me on Twitter. But if you go to Slack, I have a link in the video to the Slack channel. You can either go to Slack or you can go to IRC. Echo, huh? Let's see, why would we have an echo? Okay, let me try to fix that. Okay, I'm using this thing. Okay, maybe if I mute... Ooh, I do seem to have 2... Okay, let's try muting this one. Okay, is that better now? A little bit? I tested this and actually like listened with headphones on a different device, and it came through fine for me. It seemed okay. Does it still seem bad, or is that better? Okay. Awesome. All right. So yeah, just go into this channel and chat with me here. I'm sorry, but there's a little problem with the link between Slack and IRC. We have this bot set up to communicate between the two, but sometimes it goes down. I think it was Dale who set it up, Dale Harvey, who is the main person on the pouchdb project. Oh, by the way, if you don't know, so I'm Nolan Lawson. I co-maintain pouchdb and a bunch of other, mostly JavaScript libraries. I actually do have some libraries written in other languages, but right now what I mostly have is JavaScript. So let's just go in and start doing some open source stuff, right? Isn't that what you guys are here to see? So, okay, hang on a sec. Okay, it's better. Sweet, sweet. Okay, so I was kind of going through my open tickets, and so I have 127 unread GitHub notifications, which kind of sounds like a lot until you consider that I kind of just hit the snooze button on GitHub for like a week because I had a lot of other stuff going on in my life, and I was just kind of busy. and I just didn't feel like doing it for the most part during the week. So it adds up, and then on the weekend I'm like, okay, now it's like Saturday. I can wake up, I can go for a jog, I can get my coffee. Tools of the trade. Coffee is very, very important for this. You got to keep the buzz going if you're going to be effective in open source. Lots and lots and lots of coffee. I am prepared. I've got a whole pot right here that I made that I'm ready to re-pour this at will. Other tools of the trade, I would normally have music going right now, but I feel like it might be kind of distracting for you guys, so I'm not doing that. Normally I would have like Steely Dan going or something. I like Steely Dan because it's like I've heard those albums 100 times and I can just kind of tune them out, when I'm working on stuff. But anyway, so let's just dive right in. Okay, so I kind of clicked on a few, and this first one that I looked at, this is an interesting one. It's from the pouchdb-find project, which is a query engine for pouchdb. And I was kind of looking at this because this person opened a pull request, and they say, as described in the issue, tests 1 and 3 fail, and test 2 is okay. So I think they're trying to, so they're not posting this pull request because they actually want us to merge it. They're posting this pull request to just demonstrate that, hey, this is broken. And I don't actually know what's involved. Let me see. So Garen helpfully jumped on. Garen kind of took over this project for me. I moved on to other stuff, but he's been a trooper, and he's been really, really good about responding to people quickly, which I'm really happy about, because it's really important that you respond to people immediately so they feel like they're not getting ignored. Unfortunately, the last time we commented on this was 15 days ago. So actually, maybe I've been snoozing on my GitHub issues for longer than that. Well, let's actually, take a look at this. This person actually spent some time to do this work. So first off, I want to see what 169 is. My internet might be kind of slow because I'm running a lot of stuff at once. Oh, let's maybe turn off this live dashboard. I think that might be eating up a lot of resources. So sorry, I'm not going to be in this stream. I'm going to be on Slack probably. I might even close Slack if it starts getting too bogged down. But, yeah. Okay, so let's go in and see what the issue is. Searching for null. A query like db.find selector day null doesn't work. Type error cannot use in operator to search for ne and null. Yeah, okay, this definitely looks like a bug. Oh, I know why this is. I'll bet you anything this is because this null confuses the query engine. Like, it doesn't realize you're literally searching for null. It thinks that, like, you haven't specified the query. Yeah, so Garen's right. That definitely looks like a bug. So he reported some failing tests. You know what? Let's actually just look at it. I haven't looked at this project in a long time, to be honest. Garen came in and kind of like refactored the whole thing. He did a really great job. But honestly, it's been kind of a while since I've looked at it. So this will be kind of new for me as well as you guys. Okay, so let's... And whenever I go into a project that I haven't gone into in a long time, I'm going to increase the font size actually so you can see a little bit better. I'll ask you guys if you... Yeah, I type a little assertively, so hopefully that's not too loud. Anyway, when I go into a new project, often what I like to do is I like to just remove all the node modules and then reinstall from scratch, because I just find that like with npm caching and stuff, it's just often easier that way. So especially when a project I haven't updated in a while, usually there's updates to dependencies, and so it just makes more sense to fetch everything again and install it. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to open this project in WebStorm, which is my editor of choice. And I have a lot of projects open. pouchdb-find is not a recent one that I've worked on, but let's open it up. Okay, I'm glad to hear that to strike. I'm glad to hear it's quiet. I'm also not sure whether I want to use the trackpad or my real mouse. I'm a weirdo when it comes to mice. I use this thing. This is like my go-to mouse since like 7 years ago. I remember someone just gave me this advice. He said, you know what, man, like you're going to be doing computer stuff all your life. You want to take care of your wrists. And so if you can invest in something where you're going to be minimizing wrist movement, right, like a trackball, then you should. So I took his advice and I got kind of addicted to the thing. So, whoops. So it's basically my go-to now, is this weird mouse. But it might be kind of loud because it clicks loud, so I might avoid it. Anyway, so we've opened up pouchdb-find, we've got all the source code, and it's still installing. It's still installing from npm. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not on local-npm as of right now because there was a bug in local-npm that I was trying to track down. So I'm on regular npm, which means I'm actually fetching from the network and all that. So it's actually going to take a while before I can run these tests. So while that's going, let's see if there's another issue where I can just respond to someone. Okay, so here is one. So this one was on pouchdb-authentication, which is an authentication plugin for pouchdb. It's mostly actually just kind of a sugar over the Couch API. So a lot of this project is really just kind of explaining to people how CouchDB authentication works, because I didn't actually write the logic. I just wrote like an interface on top of it with like some nice, like a nice API that supports callbacks and promises and all that. Anyway, so this issue, this is an old issue, but it looks like it got commented on a day ago. So okay, so this issue has been up since 2015, and it looks like, yeah, it looks like my response was, I wonder if this is a problem in IE. What is the problem? Working great in Firefox and Chrome, but not in IE. Yeah, that's almost undoubtedly a caching issue, because IE and Edge are really, really aggressive about caching. So yeah, so we usually append this nonce to every GET request just to make sure that IE actually doesn't cache. Safari actually does some aggressive caching too, but IE is the worst about it, definitely. But it looks like, oh, it looks like it's still causing errors. And see, these are CORS errors. So I asked this person, did they enable CORS? Because that's a lot of the problems people have with CouchDB, is that it doesn't come with CORS enabled by default, and nobody knows what CORS is, and CORS is really confusing, and it's even hard to say. It's got a weird name. But it's this thing you have to enable, basically, if you want cross-domain requests to work with something like pouchdb, for instance. So they're saying they're still having CORS errors in IE. This person is saying they're having errors too. And you see, a lot of this is like, I'm not really sure how to reproduce this unless I guess I start up IE in a VM or something, which I don't think I have an IE VM anymore. Let me see. Okay, so what did this person say? This person is the first person to comment in like months. What did they say? I have a similar issue on iOS, and on MS Edge. That makes sense. I was serving my app from localhost and CouchDB from localhost 5984. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it'll work if you have different ports. I don't. Oh yeah, no, you would have to do CORS if it was on different ports. Oh, I see. IE10 does not make a CORS request if only the port is different. Ah, okay, so that's probably what's going on here. Okay, so I'm just gonna point out. I'm just gonna say, okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that about the separate ports and IE Edge. In general, though, I will say that CORS is really tricky to get working, and even once you actually get it working, you take a performance hit because every request has to do an extra pre-flight request. So for that reason, I typically tell people to avoid CORS in production, e.g. by using an Nginx or Apache reverse proxy. That's all I do for CouchDB. I never run it on a separate port, unless if I can avoid it. Sometimes I end up having to, and then I have to use CORS. But if I can avoid it, I do avoid it. Your website would be website.com, and your CouchDB would be hosted at website.com/couchdb. Like, that's what I like to do. Like, I set up a reverse proxy, and there's lots of details about how to set up a reverse proxy with CouchDB. I usually use Nginx for this, just because I just like copy and paste the configuration. And there's like this wiki page on Couch that explains how to do this. You can even add SSL really easily. I've done that before, so it's like, I know this is, see, I'm not really answering the person's question, which I feel kind of bad about, but I'm mitigating it, like they didn't go down a happy path, and now they're not happy. And like I could help fix their situation on that unhappy path, but I'd almost rather just say, you know what, you could just hop over to this happy path right over here, and then you'd be much happier. But I'm going to leave the issue open because it's obviously still an issue. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I've got other fish to fry, so I'm going to put that on the back burner for now. Actually, what I do when I put issues on the back burner is I typically just grab them and I say like, and I add them to this gist. Like I have this gist called stuff I'm working on, and I just put down just issues that like I didn't have time to deal with, basically. So like I have like a long-term column and an upcoming column. Yeah, it's like long-term. Look into this IE issue because I can start up IE in a virtual machine and then get that running, but I just and I don't really have time to do that right now. Nor do I want to. You don't want to see me stream with IE in a VM. It's going to destroy this machine. I can already hear the fan, you know, just whirring for dear life. It's going to be even worse if I'm on a VM. Oh, cool. I'm glad to know I'm not the only one who's weird and uses a trackball. Yeah, Browser Stack. I don't use Browser Stack. I use Sauce Labs, but that's mostly just habit, honestly. Like I've heard they're both good, but I know how Sauce Labs works, and it integrates really well with this tool called Zuul, Z-U-U-L. So that's typically why I use Sauce Labs. Also, I mean, it's better for like when you have a test case and it's already written, and you have like a Mocha test that's written. It's like when it fails, it fails, and when it succeeds, it succeeds. When you need to just like poke around until you can reproduce the error, then I think you need an actual real browser in a VM. Like that's what I like to have, you know. Yeah, I really like Sauce Labs and Zuul. It's like zero configuration. It's so nice. I have some projects where I use Sauce Labs and Zuul. If you want to see how easy it is, seriously, I've upgraded some old projects to it. It's really, really easy. Yeah. I even got Appium working recently, which I was super happy with. I actually had like tests running in iOS and Android, which was amazing. So, oh my god, people are actually watching this. So yeah, so talk to me on Slack or on IRC or in Twitter and tell me if this is dull or if you want me to move on to different stuff. I've got so many issues open right now. Honestly, often I just go through them alphabetically. So like I'm starting with pouchdb authentication because it starts with pouchdb-a, you know, so that's why it comes up to the top. I've got tons of issues in pouchdb, which are mostly, it looks like Dale actually handled most of them, so I can mark a lot of these as red, which is really nice. So bam, this is the easiest way to plow through GitHub issues. It's like I know Dale just merged those. Greenkeeper. Greenkeeper is awesome, by the way. Gregor, if you're watching, I love Greenkeeper. It's amazing. Yeah, I've got some Express PouchDB issues, some local npm issues. Dexie.js it's technically a competitor to pouchdb. It's an IndexedDB library, but I really, really like it, and so I started watching the repo so I could give people advice on IndexedDB stuff. That's a show I'm going to be on. That's JSON, which I haven't really watched in a long time. I wanted to do more with JSON, but I just didn't have time. And I think I hate to say this publicly, I think it might be unmaintained. So yeah, unfortunately, I can't really watch that one. I should stop watching it. I was on this issue. It's probably a discussion issue. Let's look at that because it's kind of interesting. This looks like something that Calvin has been doing on Rollup. So Calvin and I used to work together on pouchdb. He's on the Node Streams working group, and he's really involved in Node.js stuff. But he took an interest in Rollup recently because of the performance gains it can give with minifying code, and he was really interested in basically getting all of his Browserify projects to work exactly the same in Rollup because Rollup is really pluggable, and so in principle there's no reason that even if you're using really, really subtle usages of Browserify, so like, and Calvin really, he loves to tweak and configure Browserify. Like he does some really, really intricate stuff in there. Like, man, you should see some of his projects. They're really impressive, actually. So like my favorite one, which is like one of my favorite projects ever, is Lie, which is a promise library. And it's like the smallest promise library I've ever seen. It's like fast and adheres to the spec and just implements the spec, and is really, really super good. Like, it's tiny. It's a tiny, tiny library. You can see how tiny it is by going to, let's go to wizardin, and let's browserify it on the fly. If you don't know about wizardin, by the way, wizardin is amazing. It just is browserify on demand. And you can just like download this and check the size to see how big it is. Actually, I have a tool, command line tool to do this. I have a tool called mingz, so I can just do mingz lie, and it'll ping, whatchamacallit, it'll ping wizardin, and then uglify, and then gzip, and figure out the size. Look at that. It's 1.7K. This is a promise library that's 1.7K. Like, the next smallest I'm aware of is ES6 promise, and I think it's a bit bigger. It's like 3 or 4, I want to say. Yeah, 3. So, to get that to happen, he did some really, really intricate tricks in this library. I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but tell me if this is boring. Actually, I'll open up YouTube again so that if anyone's posting anything there, I can see it. Where's my live stream? My channel. I watch a lot of Super Smash Brothers. So now you all know. Sorry, I am a huge Super Smash Brothers fanatic. So now that's public knowledge. That's awesome. Where's my channel? Where's my live stream? Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna mess around with this. If you want to talk with me, you should go on Twitter or on Slack. Anyway, let me know if this is boring. Anyway, back to Calvin's library. So Calvin really does some intricate stuff with Browserify. And you can find it in his package.json. So he does stuff like, yeah, so he applies all these Browserify transforms on the fly, which he has this one inline process browser, unreachable branch transform, and ES3ify. So that's kind of a mouthful. I'll explain what each of those does. Inline process browser basically says when you convert this to browser mode, if there's any point in the code where it says if process.browser, right, it just converts that to if true. That's what it does. Because you are in the browser, of course it's true. And then the second transform says, okay, if there's anywhere in the code where it says true or false and it's just a constant, then just cut that out, right? Like if it says if true, else whatever, just cut out the entire else. That's what that does. And then ES3ify just is a transform that makes it work in ES3 as opposed to ES5. And so that's why this thing ends up being so small, because if you actually look at the source, it would be a lot bigger in the Browserify format. Like here's an example: if not process.browser, but that doesn't show up in the actual Browserify version. Like you won't see it here. See, it's not there because it got cut out of all his transforms. Anyway, so I kind of filed an issue on him recently on Calvin's library because I was like, well, I wanted to use this thing with Rollup because I really like Rollup. It makes really small bundles. But if I use lie, then Rollup doesn't know about these Browserify transforms, and so it actually includes all of this extra stuff it doesn't need, and then it ends up being bigger. So it's like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, you know? So anyway, yeah, so he has this issue open. What was I looking at? All right, I was looking at Browserify interop. So he's been looking at Browserify interoperability and Rollup, and I'm on this discussion for some reason. He says, one of the issues I've had with Rollup is I can't use all the previous modules I've written with it due to interoperability issues. After talking to Nolan Lawson about it, I decided to write some stuff to make Browserify modules just work. Yeah. Okay, so he's actually just tracking his progress on all this stuff. And I haven't been contributing to any of this. But, okay, so he just posted that this is kind of working. That's kind of cool. So it's basically like you just throw a bunch of Rollup plugins into this and it just works, which is nice. Okay, so cool, he's been working on that. Okay, so, alright, I got nothing to say about that. Back to this. Okay, so yeah, so let's actually do some code, right? Native promise only. Oh yeah, well if you're using native promises, then yeah, you've got the smallest possible promise library because it's 0. It's 0 KB. But actually, if you want, I wrote a thing called lie or native, I think. Did I write this? Did I write this or did Calvin write this? I can't even remember anymore. I think I wrote this, which basically uses, maybe it's native or lie. Yeah, native or lie. Yeah, okay, so it's me. Yeah, okay, so which does like if native promises are available, use that. Otherwise, use lie. Because I like to use native promises when available because it tends to be easier to debug in Chrome, for instance, because it actually prints out like unhandled promise rejections down at the bottom, which is nice. There's some other reasons that's nice. Chrome has a promise inspector now. Anyway, so I have that thing. Native promise only. Oh, I see what you mean. So it's just a straight up polyfill. Let's see how big that is. Let's use my mingz tool. By the way, if you want this tool, mingz, it's actually one line of bash. So, ooh, hey, Calvin, you got some competition. Look at this. Native promise only, 1.5K. Okay, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, I will have to look into that and see how the performance stacks up. I tend to trust Calvin because his performance optimizations are really, really good. So it's not all just about size, but I mean, yeah, that's impressive. Yeah, cool. But I was saying, if you want this tool, mingz, I put it up on GitHub, and it's just a one-line bash script. So anyone who wants to use this, just add this to your bash profile, and it just grabs the script from Wizardin and uglifies, gzips, and counts the size. So it's just kind of convenient because you can just see, like, yeah, you can see, like, mingz lodash, how big is that? Mingz underscore, how big is that? So I use it all the time, just kind of like thinking, like, you know, if I want to include, I don't know, React or something, like, how big is that? You know, I just, yeah, that's actually smaller than I thought. Oh, it's probably because they moved stuff out of core. Yeah, 11K is pretty small. Anyway, back to GitHub issues. I'm not making much progress in these, am I? So anyway, so this person with a frog as their avatar opened this issue, and they wanted us to verify that that the tests are failing. So I'm actually going to look into this now. So this person, I'm going to add them. Their name is Froatsnook. I'm going to add them as, okay, hub, add, remote. This is, if you don't know about the tool hub, it's really, really convenient. Just remote add. It just makes it really easy to work with GitHub. So that just immediately added, like, what is it, list? Git remote ls. Yeah, so that just added his fork to the list of remotes so that I can then pull from it. So I now have all of his stuff, so I can check out this. Okay, so now I'm on that, and the first thing I always do is I always rebase on master because I don't know what changed. Okay, it's still on master, that's good. And then I usually check git k to see what he changed, he or she. I shouldn't assume gender. This person's avatar is a frog for crying out loud. So let's see. So they just added a test. Okay, so let's just test it out. I'm just gonna do npmt. Wow, JS Hand, you're kind of slow. Okay, so it's kind of hard to tell in this light. I think, oop. Yeah, okay, so this person was not kidding. That test definitely fails. So, what to do? I think I know the answer to this problem. I really think when I was looking at it, it was just that, like, you pass in null, and it doesn't understand the difference between null and undefined. I think that's all it is. I'm sure there's just like a not check in there somewhere. There should be a not equals undefined check, or key doesn't exist check. Whoa, why do I have so many failing tests? Oh, right, that's because it's testing against CouchDB right now, and this library fails in CouchDB 1, so I would need to run it against CouchDB 2. But see if people are pinging me right now. Hub checkout pull request URL is what I use to review pull requests from forks. Oh, thank you, Jake. I did not know that. That's a really good tip. Okay, so Jake says that I can do hub checkout and then the pull request URL. Let's actually try it out. I'm kind of curious now. So let's do hub checkout, and I just put in the whole URL, I guess. I wonder if I could just put in the number. I'm going to put in the whole URL. Okay, that is a lot faster than the 3 steps I was doing before. Thank you. That is going to improve my efficiency a lot. Thank you, Jake Champion. That's awesome. Okay, so anyway, so now I'm testing. So the first thing I need to do is I need to actually make this... Okay, so let's go back a step. Let's put it on master and get the test passing, because sometimes there's some configuration involved. I think for this project I set it up so that if you can specify the couch host. This project should pass against pouchdb server, not couchdb. So let's go in and let's run pouchdb server on port 6984, and I'll just do it in memory so it's a little bit faster. And then I'll set it up to talk to pouchdb server while it's running, and then I just want to verify that the existing tests on master actually pass completely. Just as a sanity check, because I mean otherwise I could get totally distracted by something that is like an environment issue, or I gotta install a different version of CouchDB, or I don't even know what, and then I'm so distracted that I can't fix this person's issue. Well, I noticed it's printing out some stuff to standard out, but I think that's actually expected, and that's okay. Even that error is probably an expected error, so because I don't see any red dots yet. I only see green and yellow dots and gray dots. This is Mocha, by the way, that I use for testing here. Okay, you can see it hitting pouchdb server as well. So, oh, we got red. We got failures. Why would those be failing? Do I have an old version of pouchdb server? I'm not sure why that would be failing. I'm trying to think. Well, I'm about to find out the error soon, so we'll see. Why is it doing that? Why is it failing? I wonder if anyone else has caught my error. No, nobody's caught my error. Anyone on Twitter caught it? That's funny. I imagine Dark Souls would be infinitely more entertaining. That's funny. Yeah, okay, cool. Sorry, I'm just thanking some people who are commenting. This is fun. I'm really enjoying this. I can see why people get addicted to like video game streaming and stuff. Anyway, okay, so the question now is why my project is failing even on master. So actually what I normally do in this case is I find it much easier to debug this stuff from the browser rather than Node. I never liked the Node inspector or any of that stuff. So what I normally do is almost all my projects are set up so you can test them from the browser or from Node. Occasionally I have projects that only work in Node or the browser, but yeah, in this case I have tests that they're running both the browser and Node. So okay, so let's actually open it up in the browser so I can debug it there. And yes, I use Firefox as my day-to-day browser, but I use Chrome for debugging like the rest of the world. Okay, so let's just, while that's running, I'm gonna just check to see if anybody's commenting on YouTube. Just want to make sure I'm getting all the commenters. Man, this is... I should probably have 2 screens set up for this or something. It's probably a lot easier to manage, but anyway. Okay, so let's see what's failing. Okay, so these are the local tests. Usually, so this project, I do remember that with this project, I basically run the same test suite against CouchDB, and then I run exactly that same test suite against CouchDB. In this case, CouchDB is actually pouchdb server, just for convenience, but whatever, same difference. I have a breakpoint set for some reason, which I did not mean to do. Don't know why I have a breakpoint in there, so I'm just going to turn off all the breakpoints. So that's probably not valid anymore. Okay, so let's let this run, and then I want to see why it was failing for remote. So unfortunately these are kind of slow, a lot of these tests. I definitely could have made them a lot faster, and also my machine is getting hammered right now by all this, by the streaming. This is a MacBook Air, by the way, so this thing is chugging along. like a champion. So actually, let's... Oh, okay. Gregor's thanking me for adding him for reviewing one of his PRs. Actually, that's a good idea. I can look at one of your PRs while I'm doing this at the same time. I think I merged this. Oh yeah, this one. Yeah, so this issue I was actually meaning to get to after I was done getting through all the other GitHub issues, because this one, I looked at it last night, and I think this issue needs... It's not that the issue needs some work, Gregor, it's that I think the test case that you and Jan wrote might have uncovered a fundamental bug in PouchDB itself. Because, well, either the test is wrong or the behavior of the replicator is wrong, because I can pretty consistently get failures using that test case. So I opened up another pull request on top of this one that I linked to here. Oh, that's right. I also opened up some other pull requests recently. I opened up one to fix ESLint, because we recently migrated from JSHint to ESLint, and I like ESLint. It's nice. I really like the -- fix feature. That's really cool. But unfortunately, when we migrated over, we lost some of the rules that we had kind of come to rely on, and we didn't notice that they were gone until people started opening pull requests, and then it wasn't following our style. Like, people were opening pull requests with, like, no semicolons. We always do semicolons. Or things like an if statement without a curly brace. And, it's not like it matters. Like, who cares, right? This is just like, Freud would have called it the narcissism of small differences, right? But we have this project, and we have a set of conventions, and people are used to those conventions. And so, all right, argument from tradition, whatever. I know it's not a real argument. It's a fallacy. But, so we go with what has worked in the past. I do contribute to projects that don't use semicolons. I contribute to projects that do use semicolons. It's just, when in Rome, do as the Romans. Travis, by the way, really does not perform well in Firefox. But I power through out of principle, because I like Firefox. It's my browser of choice. It's what I use on desktop and on mobile. I like lots of features of it, but I do admit that sometimes some sites run quite a bit slower in Firefox than in Chrome. So, like, right now, I'm just waiting for this thing to load so that I can hit the refresh button, because, oh yeah, I should mention, so PouchDB is kind of in this situation right now where we have this huge set of tests, like tests on every browser you could imagine against every, like, different versions of Node, different settings, and the tests are not always super reliable. Sometimes it's Sauce Labs' fault. Sometimes it's our fault. I know that there are, like, race conditions waiting around in some of those tests that we just haven't been able to fully track down. But the easiest thing to do, honestly, is just to restart the test. So when you open a new pull request, even if everything is fine, even if you just change the README, undoubtedly, like, one or two tests will fail for whatever reason, gremlins. So I'm often going in there and restarting stuff. So it does kind of frustrate me when Travis is slow, but c'est la vie, right? So anyway, so I opened up a pull request to fix the ESLint stuff, and hopefully that will be green, and then we can merge it. Yeah, but Gregor, I do mean to get to this issue later. I was actually planning to get to it after I kind of plowed through my other issues. So, all right, let's go back to this, because I want to see how this is doing. It's only 46%. Man, this is way slower than I remember it being. What? And it's passing now? Okay, this doesn't make any sense. This was failing on Node. Oh, wait, no, it wasn't. We haven't gotten to the remote test yet. This is still in the local tests. Yeah, so unfortunately, this isn't very indicative of what it's actually like for me to work on open source, because usually my computer is not being just totally hammered like it is right now. The fan is screaming right now, like, because of all this streaming stuff going on. So normally my test would not be running nearly so slow, but well, maybe I should get back to that one later. You know what? Let's add this to. I'm gonna add this to my gist, so I can just remember to look into it later. I'm sure that this person is right. I'm sure that the failing test is because of null versus undefined. And if I just hunt through the code, I guarantee I'll find somewhere where we test, like, truthiness without testing type of whatever equals undefined, and that's the source of the bug. But I've got too much stuff going on right now, and it's I don't think that I can run this. I think I need to close Chrome, to be honest. So that's going to go on the pile of stuff I need to get to. And okay. I'm just gonna add a little notes that I remember what I think the problem was, because I think I've got a good feel for what the issue is. I'm like 99% certain I can solve that pretty quickly. I think I already fixed this issue, didn't I? Merge this pull request. Yeah, I already fixed that. So okay, cool. All right, what else is going on? I don't know if people have signed off or not. Maybe this ended up being way too boring. Well, anyway. All right, next up. So I was going through issues. Let's try to go through some interesting issues since I got everybody on stream, and there's probably no way I'm going to get through all of these by the time I'm done. That's a former employer where I'm still watching all their repos, and I shouldn't be. LocalForage is another IndexedDB library that I really, really like, and so I tend to contribute to it or watch it. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is the kind of issue you get a lot in open source. A lot of people are just like, they really just want a tutorial, and they really need help with getting started with choose your framework. Angular, Angular 2, React, Ionic, Ember, and they just don't quite understand how to get started. And unfortunately, when you write a general purpose library, it's kind of not your role to do that. Like, that's not your job. You should put out something that is vanilla and that works everywhere the same. But I can see that Matt is being very kind here to this person and is no. Yeah, I still say he's being kind. He's being kind by responding, at least. He says, you've created the same issue across several repositories with no context. Integration with Angular is possible to my knowledge, but would require a separate library to integrate LocalForage and Angular. We link to an Angular 1 library in the docs. Yeah. I mean, that's the best you can do, right? Just like put tutorials out there. People can follow it that way. Yeah, I think you did the right thing. Okay. LocalForage works in Chrome, not Firefox. Ooh, that's interesting. I want to see what that's about. I'm sure I'm missing something basic, but I cannot get LocalForage to work in Firefox. Any data saved disappears immediately. Oh, I'm trying to put together a multi-page app, which depends on some fairly simple stored data. I would like to be able to use Firefox, but right now, only Chrome retains the data. Oh, it works in Chrome, not Firefox. Okay. Details. Oh, okay, so this person did post details. It's not working in Firefox. I wonder what version of Firefox they're using, because typically IndexedDB works really, really well in Firefox and Chrome. The solution for me was to use the native Firefox storage inspector. Only then could I see all of the data I was missing. Was this the same person who posted this? He says, no, however, I'm getting no data present for selected hosts, which suggests that the data was not being set in the first place. I notice he's in Firefox Developer Edition. That's the person replying to it. That is... Oh! You know what? I'll bet I know what's going on. Actually, I think I know what's happening here. Let's see. Are you testing this from file as opposed to HTTP? I believe in Firefox you cannot access IndexedDB if you open an HTML page from file. So in this case, you would need to run an HTTP server. Easiest way is to do python-m simple HTTP server, and then go to HTTP localhost. I can't remember what it defaults to, actually, but you can pass it in. So let's say 8080, localhost 8080. Chrome might be different. I think that's the issue. A lot of people run into this when they're using IndexedDB for the first time. is that you make a web page. I made a file. I called it index.html and I saved it to my hard drive. Hey, it's an HTML file. I should be able to just open it, right? But the problem is that if you open it and if the URL bar says file : / whatever, then it actually gets a different set of restrictions. And this happens across all browsers. Like things like cores starts to get kind of funky. Maybe blob URLs start to get funky. No, but definitely IndexedDB starts to get funky. It doesn't work quite right, I think. You almost always want to run a simple HTTP server. I started doing this for everything that I do, just because opening from file, there's always little strange bugs, and so it's a lot easier to just test this. So I think this is the person's issue, but we'll probably find out when they respond on Stack Overflow. And I'll just link to it here and see if that's what the issue is. I think I may have figured out your issue. Can you provide feedback? Okay. Anybody else have any comments? I don't know if anyone's still watching. etc hosts. That doesn't actually solve the issue to strike, because I mean, yeah, you can do that, but then the issue is that you still, if you're not running an HTTP server, then you're still, when you open the file, it's file : //. Actually, I can show you this right now. Like this is actually really easy to demonstrate. So I'm just gonna create an HTML file. Like, watch this. Put a script in there. Oh, let's put a body tag. Should probably put a body tag, right? Okay, so we'll just do oh man, I don't remember how to do vanilla IndexedDB anymore. Isn't that awful of me? Okay, I'm just gonna include pouchdb. Actually, we have pouchdb on JS deliver, don't we? Is that still up? Yeah, that site's up. Okay, good. So I'll just include pouchdb, source equals blah. I guarantee you this will not work if I do it from a file URL. So if I do var pouch equals new pouchdb foo pouch.info.then console log.bind console.catch console log.bind console. Like if I do this, and if I just open this in Firefox, like watch, I guarantee you it's not going to work. Temp/index.html. So let's look at the console. I guess it's not working. Oh wait, hang on a sec. Where's the console? Console. Okay. Oh no, it actually does work. Huh. I could have sworn that didn't work. Okay, so that's probably not that person's issue. That's too bad. Well, maybe they're using an older version of Firefox. Maybe this got fixed. I know Dale was complaining about it a lot, and Dale works at Mozilla, so maybe they listened to him. I don't know. But anyway, the point I was trying to make is that like it doesn't matter if you change your etc hosts. You run Apache, serving up my entire Git directory. Oh. Okay. Yeah, that would work. Oh, I just realized, by the way, probably everyone in this room doesn't understand what's going on if you're normally just in there for pouchdb stuff. So I should probably put a link to what I'm actually doing. Hang on a sec. Sorry, I'm just gonna put a link to the live stream inside of that inside of there. No, don't YouTube, don't open it. I just want the link. No, okay. Okay, that's really awkward. Let's share this. Yeah, okay. Okay. Not totally appropriate that I'm using the pouchdb channel for this, but I couldn't think of anywhere else to do it. So sorry, Dale. Hope you don't mind. Anyway. So, let's see. what was I on? Right, so I was looking at LocalForage. So I don't know what that person's issue was. It's really hard to say because they just said it doesn't work. That doesn't give a whole lot of context. I guess maybe it wasn't the file issue. I don't know. Does this work in, maybe this doesn't work in current Firefox? Because I'm on Firefox Developer Edition. Let's try regular Firefox. I could have sworn this did not work. I remember Dale even telling me this doesn't work. And he works at Mozilla. No, it still works. Okay. Alright, I have no idea what that person was running into. Well, that's too bad. I tried to answer. If not, they would need to provide more details, and then I'd be able to help them. But anyway, I tried my best. Oh, I should probably follow that up. Yeah. I'll add a comment. Actually, just tested in Firefox. Seems file works now. If you can provide more details, maybe you can, that would help elucidate. Story of my life. I wish I could just like, that's really like my canned response to almost everybody. It's just like, if you provided more details, I might be able to help. This guy, or this person, provided great details, right? Test to reproduce. So that person, I should definitely go back and look at their issue. I'm not going to do it right now, though. So I already responded to this, Oh, here's another one that I was looking at. So this was from pouchdb-authentication again. I haven't looked at this one yet. Let me see. Hello, I'm having a small issue here, and I'm not sure if it's because it's late or there's something to be improved on pouchdb site. I set a role on access, so only user with that role are able to do something, right? But then I saw the session handler is also blocked, so how can only a logged in user be allowed to do login? I can't save admin credentials on client side. How can I accomplish this? Is it possible? For now, I don't want any black magic security, just that logged in users are validated and can get data. Any ideas? Thanks. Yes, unfortunately, this is another kind of issue that you often get in open source, which is it's really unclear what the issue is exactly. And I feel bad because this issue is 8 days old, and probably this person, I'll bet you anything, this person, if I responded now, they probably don't even care at this point because I've taken so long to respond that they probably moved on to some other piece of software. Like, they probably decided that CouchDB is too hard to work with, and they just use something else, like Firebase or I don't know what. But I should try to do a good faith effort to respond to this person because maybe they're still struggling and they want help. So let's see. I saw the session handler is also blocked. I set role on access, so only user with that role are able to do something, right? I'm really kind of struggling to understand what this person is saying. Well, they're talking about this scenario. Everyone has to be logged in to do anything, which is in the README, I remember. And I did not contribute this part of the README because it's not really my use case, but somebody needed this, so they added it. I really actually don't know much about this setup. I've never used it myself. So, yeah, I think the best thing is just to say, I'm sorry, but I'm not really sure what you mean. Are you talking about this setup? I'm going to link to that thing in the README. This setup from the README? I assume they are, but I mean, it's hard to tell. You know. What do you mean when you say that the session handler is also blocked? I don't know. I think that's all I should say, because maybe just by saying that little bit, maybe he'll be kind of motivated to come back and respond. You know, when you see that someone is actually responding to you, maybe you feel a little bit more like you know, enabled to come back and say like, oh, okay, this person actually cares. Maybe I can. Maybe I should provide more details. Then maybe if he provides more details, I can try to help. Oh man, okay, I'm not making great progress. So I started off this day with like 150 issues, and then I got through about 20 or so, and then I started doing the live streaming. So then I got down to 127. Now I'm at 110. Okay, well, part of the problem is that I've been talking through most of the issues, and I haven't actually solved most of them yet, but that's how it goes. At least I have you guys here to keep me company, right? No, nobody's actually tweeting at me. And by the way, I'm sorry if I keep saying you guys. It's a West Coast thing. It's not meant to be gender exclusive. It's just a habit. And I know I should get out of the habit. Oh. Yeah. Okay. This is okay. This is a good idea. Okay. Yeah. So we should move to this other channel. Okay. Let's use a different channel. That's a good idea. Yeah, no, you're right. I don't want to use up the general channel for PouchDB stuff. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's use the streaming channel. Okay. All right, so let's try to get through some more issues. Okay. I have a bunch of local NPM issues that I really want to get to, but I feel like I need like a full day to dive into them. I have reproduced one of these issues in my own installation of local NPM, which is why I'm not using it, because I want to kind of keep it in that state so that I can then test it and figure out what happened. But I'm not going to get to that just yet. I have a bunch of issues in ember-pouch, but I really don't know much about this library anymore, honestly. Like, I wrote the first version, but it's been rewritten by many, many other people, and it's kind of, it's not really my baby anymore. So I typically just kind of glance at these and make sure that somebody's responding, and then, yeah, because I just don't understand enough about Ember. I haven't used Ember in forever. I learned basically just enough about Ember in order to do this project, and then kind of left it at that. So I'm just going to check all these other notifications. I'm just going to see if I can really provide any details about any of this stuff. Like, I really kind of can't is the problem. Like, unless it's about PouchDB, I really am not super knowledgeable about this. Like, I don't even really understand what an Ember blueprint is, to be honest. I kind of get it, but I mostly don't. Okay, this actually sounds like something kind of up my alley. Destroy DB plus Ember data factory guy plus find all equals error. Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. Failed to execute transaction on IDB database. The database connection is closing. I actually know this issue. It comes up a lot. This is just a general pouchdb IndexedDB issue, so I can actually respond to this. Okay, typically the reason this happens is because there is a concurrent IDB operation going on while you're destroying. Like, you're not supposed to be able to, like, say you're querying IndexedDB a bunch, you're not supposed to be able to destroy it, and then while it's being destroyed under the hood asynchronously, like, do other requests to it. You can't do that. It just throws an error. And in PouchDB, we surface those errors to the user because we never really thought it was a thing where it made sense to kind of like push it under the covers. Like, we figured, like, that's a programmer error, you should handle that. On the other hand, it does get a little tricky when you're using MapReduce, which this person might be using MapReduce. It's kind of hard to tell. So I'm going to answer the way I typically answer this, which is like, okay, so there's a concurrent IDB operation while you're destroying, i.e. you're doing destroy at the same time that you're doing get or alldocs or something else. This, and I'll mention, this gets trickier when you're using MapReduce because it actually creates a separate auxiliary database, and then when one of them is destroyed, the other one is supposed to get destroyed too. But it's kind of not perfect the way it's set up right now, and basically in that case, you need to make sure that all of your queries have completed before you call destroy. Actually, this is one of those cases where if you turn on PouchDB's debug logging, it's actually really helpful in this case. I'll be the first to admit that PouchDB's debug logging is not super helpful all the time, but in this case, it's actually pretty useful because it just shows you all the operations that have gone on like over time, and so it's easy to see like, oh, I started a destroy operation and then I also started a get operation, at the same time. So in that case, like, this is actually pretty useful. It may help elucidate. Okay. So mention debug logging. And see, this is another person that I should have helped them out like 2 weeks ago. I mean, I'm really behind on my GitHub issues. I thought it was more like a week behind, but I guess I'm like 2 weeks behind. Anyway, so, okay, that person has been helped. Now I'm looking at this. Serializer blueprint. Looks like people who are more active on this repo have already figured that out, so I'm not going to look at that. Okay, this person opened up a new pull request, and it's 17 days old. And I don't really understand what's going on in here, but I see that there's a change to the README. And there's a blueprint. And I really don't understand what blueprints are. Yeah, but I'm just gonna ping. I'm just gonna say sorry, I haven't had a chance to look at this PR. Could someone with more experience with Ember blueprints look at this, please? Like, hopefully everybody else in the repo just hit the snooze button, and maybe this will like ping them, you know. So, okay, so I figured out that. What's going on? Thanks, Gregor. Okay. This was a totally spur-of-the-moment idea, by the way, this whole open source streaming thing. I put out this tweet where I was just like, man, this is really dull going through GitHub notifications Saturday, right? Maybe it'd be more interesting if I stream it. And people seem supportive of the idea, so I decided to do it. Why not? I guess people are actually listening to me. I don't know how many are live right now because I don't have my YouTube window open. But yeah, it must be fascinating. I imagine it's completely fascinating. Probably at this point you must be just shocked to see how many issues I just look at and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on there. And then I just kind of close it or say like, can you get more details, or can somebody else look at this? Because like that's like that feels like 75% of the issues. And like the other ones, the ones where I feel like I know this, I can tackle it, I often just throw it on my pile of like, okay, I'll do this when I have like a single unbroken moment where I can do coding, you know. Like the one I mentioned earlier, the one I showed earlier with the person with the frog avatar. Like that's a classic one where I look at it and I'm like, I know what the problem is. It should be easy to solve. But you know, time and resources. So anyway, let's go back. So I finished up all the ember-pouch issues. Okay. So how many am I down to now? 104. Let's see if I can break 100 issues. All right. Can I do it? Can I get to less than 100 issues? All right. Let's try to do this. So I'm gonna skip local npm for now. I'm gonna skip pouchdb for now. Express pouchdb as well. There's a lot of Greenkeeper issues. Actually, I can do that. That's easy. Maybe people are interested to see how Greenkeeper works anyway. Greenkeeper basically just pings you when there's a new version of a module, and then it runs your tests, which is really convenient. And something that I tend to do now whenever this happens is I tend to actually look at the commit message, because there was an issue where, oh god, it was Stefan Bunneman. He wrote this article. Yeah. If you haven't read this, it's really interesting. So Stefan put together Greenkeeper, which is this amazing service that pings you when your modules are updated. But someone decided to like play a prank on him or something and start this person created a fake Greenkeeper account and then started opening pull requests on people's repos just to see if they would like click merge. Like basically, will people just not think about it and click merge? You know? And it turned out they will. So now I'm kind of scared, and every time I see a Greenkeeper request, I make sure to check to make sure that it's actually like a legit pull request and that the commit message is reasonable. Somebody's pinging me on Twitter. Oh, it's Gregor. Yeah, so I'm yeah, Greenkeeper IO shout out. Yeah. But yeah, so this person created a fake Greenkeeper account. So I'm always scared now and I always check. Okay, but this looks legit. So I'm going to merge this. Oh, and this is so great. it used to be that whenever I saw one of these things, I had to go to the command line and I had to like manually merge squash, because we always merge squash everything with pouchdb projects, but now I don't. So we have a commit message policy, and that is that you always merge squash, but now I can do it from the interface because this is a new GitHub feature. I don't think I've enabled it in this repo yet, so let's enable it. Yeah, disallow merge commits, only allow squash merging. We have verified checks as a green check. What does that mean? Ember blueprints are just files that are copied over when you install the add-on or when you run ember generate add-on name. Oh, that makes sense. That's why it'd be called a blueprint. We have verified checks as a GitHub check for Greenkeeper now. That would show up next to Travis. Oh, really? Hang on a sec. So let's go back to that pull request. I didn't realize that. That's a really good feature, if so. Where's the verified? Oh, Greenkeeper verify. Greenkeeper verified pull request. Huh. Oh. So Stefan added this thing, huh? How to verify pull requests are coming from us. Yeah, I noticed this. It was Greenkeeper lowbot with a lowercase l instead of an I. So sleazy. So sleazy. I mean, I guess it's a good thing, you know, because it, like, woke the community up to this, like, this lingering problem, right? Or this potential problem. It's kind of like when LeftPad got unpublished, right? Everyone just realized, oh, shit. Like, unpublishing is a problem. Now we gotta fix this, right? So it kind of did the community a service. But anyway, so it looks like... okay, Greenkeeper verify. Oh, okay. GPG signature verification. An attacker can still use such a fake account and sign the commit with an entirely different GPG key and then set up that they set up just for this. The green verified badge would look exactly the same and could even give a false sense of security. So wait, why did you make this feature then? What? So why did you add this feature? This sounds like... Huh. Gregor, why did you add this feature? Why did Stefan add this feature? If you don't think it's actually increasing security, if it might give a false sense of security. Okay, well, in any case, I mean, you know, when I'm looking at Greenkeeper, I can just go in and look at the commit. I can see that, okay, everything's fine. You know, I can look at the file change. Yes, this looks right. And then I'll go in and merge it. Okay, so I've disabled merge pull requests. We only allow squash merge now, so I'll do confirm squash merge. And this is nice because you can actually change the commit message. So we have a convention in pouchdb. It's kind of a weird convention. It's a special convention where we just append the issue number to the beginning like that. So that's our convention. So I will confirm squash and merge, and then we're good to go. So that was easy. Okay, cool. We don't sign commits with Greenkeeper, and explain on the verify page why. Okay, so maybe I should just RTFM. Oh, this allows us to send signals that fake accounts can't. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay. Oh, yeah, you had a Greenkeeper label. That's true. Yeah, you need access to the repo to do that. Oh, I misread. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Gregor. I don't give you all enough credit. Okay, I misread the blog post. You were talking about GitHub's new GPG signature verification feature, not the feature that you launched. Okay, all right, I get it now. Sorry. I'm on stream. I'm just skimming this thing. I'm not reading through the whole thing really thoughtfully. Sorry about that. Okay, so Greenkeeper is awesome. Trust Greenkeeper. Greenkeeper is amazing. Okay. All right, we good? Love you too. Okay, so that's good to know. So I can just look for that that extra green check mark, and that'll be safe. Okay, so that was easy to merge. Let's look at update Bluebird. Okay, I can do that. That's another Greenkeeper one. This is another thing where I remember Gregor mentioning that we should probably move to using caret versions instead of fixed versions, because then we'll get fewer pull requests from Greenkeeper. But yeah, I guess I didn't quite understand how that worked. I haven't looked into it yet, but I probably should, because we get a lot of these and it takes up a lot of time. Also, this is not done yet. It's not finished building, so I can't really merge it yet. And if you think this is like I don't know, like pedantic or something, or if you think this is like if you think this is paranoid that we're doing this, like no. Before Greenkeeper came along, there were at least 5 times, at least five or six times maybe even, where a module incremented their version and it broke something, and then we didn't discover it until like a few days later or a week later, when like the master build stopped working. Or even worse, when we were testing a pull request and that pull request stopped working and we thought it was the pull request, but actually it was the dependency that failed. And so Greenkeeper really helps out with that, because now we're more likely to catch stuff and understand that it was a dependency that failed and isolate it to that dependency. Unfortunately, it still doesn't solve the problem of dependencies of dependencies. I guess for that we'd have to use shrink wrapping, but we typically don't use that for any of our PouchDB projects. So, but it's way better than what we had before. I mean, there was like I think there was a bug in Mocha that I ran into. There was a bug in Buffer. There were lots of bugs and dependencies that Greenkeeper would have prevented. So anyway, so this one, I'm going to let this one finish because it's not done yet. Okay. Let's see what else. I'm going to look at this Dexie issue. I wish more people used Dexie. I really, really like Dexie. It's amazing. I feel like it's not very active on their GitHub. Yeah, David Follander is a great guy. I actually met him when I went to EdgeConf, and we did a panel on offline storage in the browser. Super, super smart guy, really knowledgeable about IndexedDB, and Dexie is an amazing library. So what is this person saying? Well, it looks like David actually already... Okay, that's great. That's amazing. Okay, so the solution to this problem is to post a link to something that Nolan Lawson wrote. Okay, that's awesome. I can't complain about that. See, even when I'm not going into your repo and lecturing your users, I'm there in spirit, somehow. But yeah, this is a thing that happens a lot, is that a lot of times people just don't really get promises, and then you realize it when you look at their Stack Overflow questions or their issue that they open on your repo, and then you're like, oh, you actually just don't get promises. Or sometimes you don't get asynchronous code. Like some people just really don't get that. Or even you don't get JavaScript. And it's like, it's good to like understand, to get a feel for what their level of understanding is, and then you can point them to the right resources, right? I've definitely been in situations where I've had to explain to people, like, you know, that like in JSON, like your keys have to have double quotes around them, stuff like that. Like all the way up to like people just not understanding something really, really subtle about promises. Like they get everything about promises except for like one little thing. So yeah, it's really good if you can just point them to an article and it helps out their case. If I were David, I would just close this issue. It sounds like it's fixed, but this is not my repo and I don't have commit access, so I'm not. But it sounds like everything ended well there. This is an issue that I plan on looking into later, an issue with fruit down. But I have to test in Safari Mobile, so I'm kind of dreading doing that, so I'm not doing that just yet. Oh, this was an interesting issue that was in CouchDB recently. I just want to see what happened here. There was this thread about this MD5 ETag where we actually discovered this bug. This was kind of interesting. So I discovered this bug because I was testing Safari Developer Edition, because it had just come out and I was like, oh, I want to test out this thing. I mean, I'd already been testing WebKit nightly, and it's basically the same thing, but I was like, ooh, new icon. It's got a purple icon, right? So I wanted to test it. And I ran the tests against the PouchDB test suite, and I discovered a bug that occurred only in Safari Developer, or Safari technology preview and not in Safari against CouchDB, and I was like so sure it was a bug in Safari. And so I filed a bug on them, but then as I started talking with Jan and I think Garen, we realized it was more a bug in CouchDB because it was kind of like the spec, it was part of this HTTP ETags spec, and it was kind of like the spec sort of left it open for interpretation, what implementers wanted to do. And so we couldn't really say, Safari, you're wrong. You know, we could say, okay, you did something that Firefox does not do, that Chrome does not do, that IE does not do. You're doing it differently. We could say that, but when you look at the spec, it's like, yeah, you can actually interpret it either way. And so, actually, incidentally, WebKit did fix the issue before it went live. So it's not going to go live in Safari, thankfully. They decided it wasn't worth the interoperability problem. But it was also kind of a wake-up call for CouchDB, and so they are fixing this ETag problem. Basically, the problem is that if you set an ETag on a document, the browser is kind of allowed, the client is kind of allowed to cache it forever, if it feels like it. And in practice, we were kind of relying in our test suite on sort of undocumented behavior where it's like, if you get a 404 from that same endpoint that just sends you an ETag, you're supposed to clear out your cache. You're like, oh, that document is gone. I'm going to forget the ETag that I had before. But Safari wasn't clearing it out after the 404 in like a very specific circumstance. So anyway, but WebKit decided to fix it, and CouchDB is also deciding to fix it. So it's kind of an interesting issue. It's really rare you run into these things where it's like a database and the browser are kind of like, one is revealing a bug in the other. Like, how often does that happen, you know? So they're debating. Yeah, so WebKit did fix the bug. It was kind of neat. Yeah. Oh, their bug tracker is super slow. This is not my computer. This is the bug tracker. Am I still broadcasting? Yeah, okay, I am. Oh, look at that. I'm all dark because it's the sun's setting. I'm in Brooklyn. The sun's setting. I did kind of set up like a little blanket right here, so hopefully my face isn't too obscured. But I'll scooch over here so that it's not quite so weird looking. Yeah, okay, that's probably better. Yeah, is that all right? God, I look so bright. There's got to be a way to. Oh shoot. My makeshift curtain just fell down. You know, I'm gonna put it back up. Sorry, momentary break from the stream while I fix this technical issue. I don't have curtains. This is my life. This is actually my life. Is that I don't have curtains. I never bothered to get curtains in my apartment because I'm lazy. So instead, I have a bed sheet that I hang up on some nails over my window. Yeah, this is my life. This is actually like, if my mom came and saw how I lived, she'd probably not be thrilled. I hope my mom is not watching right now. Okay, all right, let's get the sun blocked out. Okay, all right, I think that's gonna stay. Okay. And we're back. Okay. Oh, that actually looks a lot better. That's great. Okay. Okay. When you use caret 2.0.0, Greenkeeper will create branches, but no pull request for all 2.x.x updates. The branch starts a Travis build. If it's green, we delete the branch and you won't see anything. Notifications. If it breaks, though, we'll start a PR to make you aware of a potential breaking change in a patch minor update. Okay. That actually is a really good feature. Unfortunately, it's more valuable in some of our repos than in others. Like, you've seen we have this problem where, like 9 times out of 10, a pouchdb commit will just break because we have, like, 30 tests, and something's going to go wrong. Like, Sauce Labs doesn't respond. Like, certain Sauce Labs browsers are more reliable than other ones. Like, their IE and Safari ones are the least reliable by far. So that'll crap out. Or, you know, our test suite is just very long, so sometimes, like, it'll be slow for some reason, and then it'll time out. Or another thing that happens is I know we have race conditions in our tests that we haven't completely sussed out yet. So, I mean, it's not super valuable for pouchdb, unfortunately, because what you're going to see is that, like, most of the time, you're going to get a false fail. It's just going to fail. And so I think for those projects, it probably makes more sense for us to just have strict versions. But if we ever fix the test, then maybe we can, you know, then maybe we can move from, move to the caret or the tilde versioning system. Yeah. Unfortunately, our tests have lots of false fails right now. We should probably fix those, though. How am I doing on time? Wow, I've been streaming for an hour and a half. Whew. Are people still hanging on? I don't know if anyone's still watching. Any notifications? Oh, lots of notifications. Okay. I'm glad you're enjoying it. That's funny. Yeah. Thanks, Jamie. Okay, so let's go back. Oh, right, so I was looking at this MD5 ETag issue. So, let's see. Okay, so it looks like they fixed the issue. Robert Newson. So Bob Newson is like a core CouchDB contributor guy, super, super knowledgeable about CouchDB. He says we'd like to guarantee that the ETag is a digest of the responsive body, either directly or indirectly. Yeah. So that was actually their solution to the problem, was that they were using the CouchDB revision, like the rev, as the ETag, which works for everything except for local documents, because in those cases, the rev is not based on anything. It's not based on the body of the document. It's just based on, I think it just starts at like 1 and then goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's where Safari was hitting this bug, where if it hit a 4.4 and then it got the new version of the document, it wouldn't actually ever update because its cache was still stale. Cache invalidation. It's one of the 2 hard problems in computer science, right? Besides naming things, right? Aw, thank you. I'm glad to know. Okay. Okay, cool. So I'll keep going. All right, so let's keep trying to solve issues. Oh, this one. I've been watching this issue for some time. So this is not my repo. This is can I use? And I've been waiting for someone to solve this issue. I was kind of meaning to do it myself, but I didn't. So this is that, I mean, we've all been to caniuse.com, right? There's this thing called the theme color meta tag, but if you go to can I use, it's actually not on there. And so, like, no one really knows what this thing is because it's not on can I use, like this theme color meta tag. But basically what it does is it makes it so that you can set a color on your web page, and then when certain browsers go to it, they will show, like, they'll make the whole status bar at the top of the phone, like they'll make that color, and it looks really, really cool. Like it looks especially cool on Android because they also use it for paging through recent results, where they'll like use like that color as like the big like theme color of the whole like app essentially, or the whole activity. And last I checked, it works on Android Chrome and also Firefox OS, but those are the only 2 browsers I'm aware of that actually do it, and it hasn't been added. So yeah, so I just pointed out it's actually an official part of the standard right now, which I know some people have complained about. I think Jacob Rossi of Microsoft complained about this, kind of rightfully so, because I think Google just basically added this thing, and they were just like, hey, what if we had a meta tag? and now it's part of the standard. But I mean, this is what happens with web standards, right? Sometimes stuff just gets baked in because somebody did it and it becomes a de facto standard. I mean, look at the CSS-WebKit tags, right? Those are actually, I think those are actually in the standard now. If not, I mean, all the browsers support them because they have to, because so many of us made websites that have the -WebKit only CSS, and so you have to support it. Your browser has to support it if you want that stuff to show up correctly. So sometimes this stuff just gets baked in. I'm sure that if whoever at Google added this, I'm sure if they could go back in time, they'd probably prefer for this to be a part of the manifest spec, I'm guessing. But it's not. It's just a meta tag. Actually, I don't think you could make it. a manifest, because you can actually change it on the fly. I do this in the Pokedex app, actually, pokedex.org. Maybe I can show you all, so you can actually like visualize, see what I'm talking about. Let's see how visible this is. Yeah. Okay, can you all see that? It's a little bit reflecty. Okay. But anyway, but you notice how there's like you notice how it's purple all the way on top, right? Like how that's all purple. That's because I set the meta theme to purple, and it's really nice because then when you go through your recent apps, like, look, like it shows up as purple in there too, so it's like a theme color. And then you can actually change it on the fly. So that's where I have this really cool effect where, like, if you click on a Pokemon, like, let's click on one that's yellow, like this one. So notice how everything went yellow, right? Like the status bar is yellow too, and it's just like this really like kind of neat effect. Yeah, let's go back, and you see it goes back to purple. See, so it's like it just goes to like whatever color the Pokemon their type is. It's just kind of a neat thing, and like it's a small thing, but I really geek out over like these like little animations and stuff. It just makes it feel a little more native, you know. Like if you use native Android apps, they do this kind of stuff all the time. They love doing that stuff. It's like maybe it's kind of cheesy, but or maybe it's kind of Android specific even, but it's really neat, I think. And actually, Firefox OS supports it too. So. RIP Firefox OS, but it does support the meta theme color. Yeah, Firefox for Android doesn't. I don't know. I should bug Dale about that. He works on Firefox for Android now. Compiling CouchDB. Oh man. Come on, why don't you just use Docker? It's actually pretty easy to run CouchDB from Docker. You can run latest that way too. Although if you need to recompile it, I guess maybe that's what's going on. I always just use Docker because I'm lazy. Anyway. Okay, so let's keep going. I'm low on coffee. At some point I will switch to beer, definitely. But it's only 5:30 where I am, so not yet. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, do you know the Docker command? If not, I can give it to you. It's kind of obscure, actually. Actually, here, let me just find it. We have it in CouchDB because we use it when we run the couch test. It's in, what is it, bin? That's Couchbase Sync Gateway. Oh, right, it's not in here anymore. Now it's in our Travis file. We moved it. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, so there's all these Docker commands. So you can just run CouchDB using this Docker command. Super easy. I don't know why they have all these options, honestly. With admin party, please. It's kind of silly. I think they did it as a joke. Okay, fair enough. Or actually, it's really convenient for just the latest version of CouchDB. Which is really nice because sometimes it's really hard to run latest CouchDB. For the longest time, you couldn't run it easily on Debian or on Ubuntu. Like it wasn't in the apt repos. I don't know why. Anyway, I was trying to plow through some pull requests. So what was I doing? Oh right, I was looking at this issue. So see, this is one of those issues that like breaks my heart because okay, this would be a perfect like first timers issue. I guarantee this issue right here, this theme color meta tag on can I use would be a perfect issue for a first timer because this repo is basically just like what caniuse.com is it's basically just a bunch of JSON files. And when you want to report something, you just go and modify the JSON file. Like I actually did this. I think I did it for IndexedDB because what was it? Oh, it was right. Oh, right. If you go to the caniuse.com page for IndexedDB, so it has a lot of details about, so in Firefox and Chrome, it's basically like IndexedDB is 100% supported, no weird complications or anything. In IE, Edge, Safari, and iOS Safari, it has some issues, and these are all highlighted by these, oh yeah, oh, see you, Gregor, have fun. Yeah, I know it's, yeah, you must be on, yeah, you're on German time, right? No, wait, no, you're in Boston now. Okay, well, whatever. It was good talking to you, anyway. Anyway, so like these are JSON files under the hood, and I remember I opened a pull request to like clarify something about Safari, and like I remember it's just basically you just modify a JSON file. So like this is like a perfect first timer issue because like people who work on the web, we use can I use every single day, and wouldn't it feel fulfilling to contribute to can I use itself? And then you just like, and I thought I was in here somewhere, and then you just like modify a JSON file basically. I could have sworn I contributed to this. Maybe I didn't. But I remember I just went in there. It was like a JSON file. Okay. Yeah, in any case, so I really wish someone would look into this issue. But yeah, as you can see, like this issue is basically just a bunch of +1s. Like, oops, where was it? Yeah, so I've been watching this issue to see if someone will fix it. I think it'd be a good one for like a welcome to open source. I actually suggested it for Gregor's Welcome to Open Source Atlanta. But I don't know if it made the cut. I think it'd be a good issue. But okay, so still watching that one. Okay, so I'll look at some LocalForage issues later. I kind of want to get a... Oh, someone opened an issue on Node WebSQL. I'm kind of surprised. I wrote this thing recently. I wasn't sure if anyone was actually interested in it. It's just it's a WebSQL polyfill for Node. Oh, right. This guy was really helpful. He just added a feature where you can just require WebSQL. Like this is really kind of nice. Like you just do like require WebSQL, and then in the browser it will be WebSQL, and then in Node it will be the polyfill, the Node-based polyfill, which I mean it only works in Safari and Chrome, but you can use this and it's kind of neat. So he added this pull request, and I thought it was a good idea. And he opened another issue. Let's see. I've seen this guy around a bit. He seems to be a common PouchDB user. He often has some interesting issues. I read the README and saw that you didn't want to make this a full polyfill, but it would be awesome. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think Flash has SQLite built in. It would be awesome if we could implement a Flash adapter. I don't think that'd be a major to-do. I can team up with you and try to solve this. I admit I'm not super interested in making a Flash polyfill because Flash is kind of dead. I don't know if the... I don't know if you got the memo, but it's kind of, well, if it's not dead, it's definitely like, it's at death's door, you know, right? Like, Flash is not, it's not going to rise up again anytime soon. There actually was an interesting recent effort to polyfill WebSQL over IndexedDB, which I was sort of a part of, and I kind of got excited about this idea, and I almost implemented it, and then about half of it ended up being implemented by the guy who wrote SQL. So he started working on this thing called WebSQL Shim, I think. Yeah, which is, I don't, and like the plan was kind of that he was going to write the query language part. Like he was going to, so like to implement WebSQL over IndexedDB, first off, would be an enormous feat of engineering, right? Because SQLite is like one of the most well-tested databases ever made. It's insane. Like their test suite, I think, is 500 times bigger than their source code. So like they have 500 times as much code running tests as they do their actual source code. Like it's madness. It is like that stuff is so battle tested. If you find a bug in that, like you are, I don't know, you've really done something remarkable. Anyway, so to rewrite WebSQL on top of IndexedDB, you would have to implement a full SQL parsing engine, right? And then implement that on top of IndexedDB. So all like the logic of like parsing strings of SQL, right? So this guy, Egershun, who wrote SQL, he actually did this. Like, it was really cool. I remember we collaborated very, very briefly on it. And it's really neat because he started with the, if you go to the SQLite docs, like look up like SQLite select, and you'll see it has these really cool, these really cool diagrams, right, that explain how to do like a select query. And these things are actually generated from a source file, which is in some, I don't know, I think it's some graphing language. I don't remember exactly what it is, but you can actually get the source code for that. Like if you dig enough in SQLite, you can find the source code for that. I think he generated his query parser from that, which is really neat. But I didn't follow up with this project because I kind of lost interest. Like I thought it'd be way too ambitious and difficult to do. But I can link to this. I can say there was kind of. I'll tell that other guy that there was briefly an effort to polyfill WebSQL over IndexedDB. See WebSQL shim. But it didn't get very far because you have to implement all of SQLite basically. Like, yeah, it would be a hefty order. It'd be a lot of JavaScript too when you're done. As for Flash, I'm not super sure that that's the best horse to bet on at this point. But it could be a very interesting project. If you want to get started with that, I would recommend looking at the new custom API that I built. So this thing is designed to run in Node, right, first and foremost, but I actually recently added a custom API with the idea being you can add a custom SQLite binding. And I actually use this to implement, I use this to re-implement the Cordova SQLite plugin on iOS and Android. So in that case, basically the custom implementation, instead of being on top of the Node SQLite 3 project, it's on top of Objective-C code in iOS and Java in Android. I actually wrote this thing. So it actually uses that, and it's pretty simple. Like you just say require WebSQL/custom, and then you pass in a custom, like your implementation on top of SQL, like your implementation of the bindings to SQLite. So you could totally use this, like as long as your implementation gets to SQLite somehow, like whether that's through Flash or React Native or NativeScript or iOS or like iOS Objective-C or Android Java, whatever, like it'll work. So he might not be aware of this because I just recently added this and his issue is from 9 days ago. So I'll point out that he can use this. You can create a separate project that implements the SQLite, the abstract SQLite layer over Flash's SQLite, and then it should work pretty easily. You can check out SQLite plugin 2, which does this. Yeah. You can check out my SQLite plugin 2, which actually does this. I'm closing this issue since I think it's more appropriate for a separate project, but I encourage you to give it a go. I think that'd be neat. That actually, I mean, why not? Like, maybe Flash is on the way out, but maybe some people are still using it. Like, why not? Be kind of interesting. So, okay, cool. That's done. How many issues am I at now? Am I below 100? Ugh, I'm almost below 100. All right, okay. Okay, so my goal is to get below 100, so I only have 2 more issues to get through. This definitely should be doable. It is 5:42 p.m. I've been doing this for an hour and 45 minutes now. Coffee is running low. I don't know how much more coffee I want to be drinking either because I'll probably be up all night if I do. But let's go with another half cup. All right. Yeah. And you all can tell that I'm a fake New Yorker because I actually have an I Love New York mug, which is super cheesy. No, but seriously, I am a New Yorker. I'm actually in Brooklyn right now. But I just like cheesy things, so I've got a cheesy mug. Anyway, so okay. So, oh, good. So it looks like the pull request that I opened to fix the ESLint rules, oh, I got a notification from coveralls that coverage remained the same. That's good. I actually kind of don't like that coveralls adds a message. I find it distracting. I wonder if I should turn that off. But it actually failed. And this is another thing I was talking about how like our test suite is so huge and so complicated that it always fails for some reason. There's always some reason. Like I don't even know why it failed here. Like let's see, it failed on node 0.10. Okay, yeah, actually that's another thing I've been meaning to fix. I think we're gonna drop node 0.10 support because it's just so buggy. It's always crashing for some reason or another. And I mean, I know it's still like used in enterprise or whatever, but like it's just so annoying to deal with. Like, yeah, it's always failing. I think, yeah, this is a good opportunity actually. So I'll restart this, and I know it'll eventually succeed. But I'm gonna open up a separate issue to drop node 0.10 support. I know Dale will be on board with that. Dale Harvey, the other guy on PouchDB, who is, I think he mentioned in the past that we should drop 0.10 support. He might have even opened an issue about that. We could add it to the allowed failures. Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Let's actually do that. So we'll keep running it, but we'll add it to the allowed failures. So I'm going to open up an issue. Actually, often what I do when I already know what I want the fix to be is I just open up a new pull request. So we have this convention in PouchDB where our commit messages have to contain the issue number. So I always just I just keep incrementing it till I find the issue number that returns a 404. So, all right, let's go into PouchDB and let's open up a new issue. Let me make sure I'm on master because I've been doing a bunch of stuff today. Okay, cool. And let's check out a branch. And what? How is that possible? Okay, there's already a branch with that name. That's weird. Well, let's create a new one. And then what I want to do here is I want to just add node 0.10 to the allowed failures because, or should I just take it out? I don't know. Yeah. Are you guys still? Is anyone still supporting 0.10? Well, Heroku is sponsoring our API docs that Cloudin's performance is too random, so we're going to try hosting our own. They yoinked it from apt. Interesting. I'm going to ask the room. Anybody still using node 0.10? Should we bother continuing to test it in CI? I think at the very least we can add it to the allowed failures. I think Dale will be on board with that. So I'm trying to remember how to add this to the allowed failures. Actually, wait a minute. Can you do that from here? I don't know how to add a node version to the allowed failures here. Because this is what? How did we even set this up? Yeah, I don't actually understand how this works, to be honest, this part of it. You know, I'm just going to remove it, honestly. Like, I'll open up a discussion about whether we should drop 0.10 support. If people really think we should keep 0.10 support, we'll keep it. But otherwise, I say just roll with the future, you know? Okay, so make sure that that looks good. Okay. I'll add a commit message. We have this commit message format where I say stop testing node 0.10 in continuous integration. I'll push that, and then I'll open it, and I imagine Dale's gonna be on board with it. And then there's a Hub has this cool command, hub pull request. I use this all the time. Let's see, should probably start a discussion about whether to keep node 0.10 support or not, but I'd be in favor of just removing it because it's constantly failing in Travis, and it's annoying to have to deal with. We could add it to allowed failures, but I figure why eat up CPU when we don't need to? Why eat up Travis's CPU? Okay, so that's open now. So yeah, people still popping in. Oh no, it's just my pull request showed up in this room. Okay. Okay, cool. So I restarted that job. I'm looking what's going on here. All right, so, okay, good. I'm down to 101 issues. Oh, this is interesting. Someone responded to me on LocalForage. Yeah, that's interesting. So I opened up an issue saying that it'd be kind of neat if LocalForage had SQLite plugin support. This person is one of the main maintainers of LocalForage. I kind of disagree with what he's saying here. Because, I mean, yeah, you could override. Okay, so he or she is right that you could just override the built-in WebSQL adapter to give it SQLite plugin support. But it's really painless to add support for the SQLite plugin because you just have to look for a global variable. Like, that's how Cordova plugins work. You just look for this variable called SQLite plugin, and then if it's there, you can use it. So it's pretty painless to add. Like, this is what we did in pouchdb. And also, I find that people who do Cordova, and especially people who do Cordova and Ionic and kind of that stuff, they tend to be like they tend to fall more on the newbie side of the spectrum. And so I tend to like to make things as simple as possible for them. Like, I don't like to ask them to configure everything themselves because I think often they just struggle with it, and so it's not really fair to them. But I mean, this isn't my repo. I don't have commit rights on LocalForage, although I have contributed to it before. So ultimately, it's not my decision. But I think I would argue against this, but let's see what this person is talking about. Oh, he's talking about when my pull request gets merged. Yeah, I opened this pull request like a month ago, and it still hasn't been merged yet. But it was a big pull request, so I can kind of understand why they're kind of antsy about it. Anyway, I'm just going to quickly say what I just said here, which is that I still sort of feel like it would make the most sense to just modify the existing adapter to automatically use the SQLite plugin. It's really a one-liner. You just check for window.sqlite plugin. If it's not there, don't use it. And I think it would be a nice feature for Cordova users so that they could get up and running really easily with LocalForage without too much configuration. Like, I mean, yeah, maybe I should just actually make the effort to open the pull request. If it's so easy, maybe I should, maybe I should just do it, actually. This is a good thing to do on stream, so I'm just going to do it. And, like, if they want to reject the pull request, that's fine, but, although he's right that, I'm going to get bit rotted if I do that, because my other pull request made a lot of changes to the code, and it might be incompatible. But I'll open it anyway, because it's really like a one-liner, and so it probably wouldn't even be too difficult to fix the merge conflicts. And they can take it or leave it. I mean, like, if they don't want to take my pull request, that's fine. But I think it would be nice. Why is this still failing? Is this... this is node 0.10 again. Node 0.10. I swear, sometimes I have, like, had to restart the node 0.10 test, like 4 times before they finally passed. It's really annoying. Okay, so am I still streaming? I wonder if I'm running out of disk space, actually, because I think it's saving to my hard drive. Okay, I've still got 38 gigs available. Alright, good. How's everybody doing? If anybody wants to talk back to me, please use the pouchdb channel in Slack or in IRC. You can actually go to the IRC channel as well, and messages will show up here, and I'll get them. I would respond to you in YouTube, but I closed the window. I'm not pro at this at all. Actually, let's see. Maybe I can... Oh, here's my streaming dashboard. Okay, let's see if anyone posted any messages. I got through a few issues today, but I feel like I haven't really accomplished much yet. It's been kind of difficult to stream and do open source at the same time. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to say real quick, if anybody wants to chat, the easiest way is to join the streaming channel in the pouchdb Slack. which I think is slack.pouchdb.com. Yeah. Yep. But I guess I'll respond here as well. How many people are watching? 11 people. Okay, that's about 11 more than I expected. So I hope you all are enjoying this and that I'm putting on a good show. I think this is going to be archived afterwards anyway, so people can always go in and see this later. Hopefully I didn't make any flubs or anything. All right, let's go back. And okay, so I was talking about mingz. I was talking about the SQLite plugin. All right, so I was just going to do this pull request because I think this is a really useful pull request to do. I'm going to close this because I think it's eating up a lot of my CPU. I can hear my CPU fan starting to run, which is why I'm not using this chat to communicate. I'm sorry. It's just like I think it's just too much for my poor little MacBook Air. So I'm going to close the live dashboard. I guess I'll yeah. What was I going to do? Right, so I was going to open up an issue. So let's just do this, actually, because I think this is a good feature. So I think LocalForage is actually like the perfect project for Cordova, Ionic, PhoneGap, these kind of users, because they usually want something really simple, and they want something that that doesn't have as many bugs and gotchas as like IndexedDB or WebSQL. And so SQLite plugin makes sense for them, I think. But I noticed that a lot of them are using pouchdb when I think it would make more sense to use LocalForage, and I think the reason for that is because it's easier to integrate pouchdb with the SQLite plugin. That's my theory. Like I even one of the Ionic folks, I think it was Mike Hardington, even made a video where he showed like how to integrate pouchdb with the SQLite plugin, like a tutorial video. I've seen some other tutorial videos too. I think Nick Raboy made one as well. And in each one of those cases, I was looking at it and I was like, well, yeah, pouchdb is great especially if you're syncing with CouchDB. But if you're not syncing with CouchDB, and if you just want something to just like store a little bit of data and get data back out, LocalForage is way more appropriate for that. It's lightweight. It's a much smaller library. It's much simpler. There's less overhead because it's not tracking revisions like pouchdb is. Like pouchdb tracks revisions over time, sort of the way Git does, because it's optimized for syncing, right? Like you shouldn't use it as just like general purpose storage. It's kind of like it's kind of overkill for that. So I feel like more people would be using LocalForage if it was just easier to integrate with the SQLite plugin. So I'm just gonna fix this issue because maybe that'll make it a little bit easier a little more palatable, right? So let's go into LocalForage. Let's check out master. Let's merge with origin master, and let's just check out a new branch. Let's call it SQLite plugin support. So this should be pretty straightforward. Yeah, so I don't even think I need to open up like a big editor or anything. I'll just open up Atom real quick. So what I would do for this is I would just go in and go into source, drivers, WebSQL, and yeah, so it just checks for this open database on the global object, and if it's not available, it stops. So this is one place where we'd have to change the code. I think there's another place. I think there's one where it like checks each adapter to see which ones are valid. Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, so it just checks. Yeah, so it checks if it's valid or not. So so there's just two changes we have to make. So we have to the check for whether it's valid or not. We just say, okay, is WebSQL valid? Well, it is if. Oh shoot! I just realized though. No, this pull request wouldn't work on Android because it would default to IndexedDB and then it would never use the SQLite plugin. Because I think there's a way to force LocalForage to use a particular adapter. Like we have the same system in pouchdb. Also, I remember this code did change a lot in my pull request. Maybe I should wait for the pull request. But I mean, yeah, because I'm just going to get bit rotted if I open this issue. Because there's going to be merge conflicts. No, I'm going to do it anyway. So to check whether or not SQLite is valid, we just do, okay, type of SQLite plugin not equals undefined, or self.open database. I assume self is the global object in this case. So yeah, that should work. Yeah, so it just checks if SQLite plugin is available. And then for the actual adapter implementation, we'll want to prefer the SQLite plugin, because if someone installed the SQLite plugin in their Cordova app, they probably want to use it, not built-in WebSQL. So we'll just say var open database equals global object at open database. Okay, we'll do var open database equals type of SQLite plugin not equal undefined. Then we'll do SQLite plugin dot open database dot bind SQLite plugin. Ooh, wait a minute. I don't know if ES5 is assumed for this library. Like, I don't know if they I know that in pouchdb we say ES5. You have to use ES5, but I don't remember what they do for this one. Let's just check real quick and see if they. That's a promise shim. Let's just see if there's somewhere where they're using an ES5 feature, just so we can cite it as prior art, right? It's like, well, we already require ES5 because look at this. I'm not seeing anything though. Oh, there's got to be somewhere where they're using some ES5 feature. I'm really hesitant to add. Maybe I shouldn't add ES5. Maybe I should just. Maybe instead of using bind, I should use something else. Yeah, I could just use bind instead of something else. Jeez. But then I have to pass in all the arguments and. No, this is fine, because if they're using the SQLite plugin, they're probably using a browser that supports ES5, because, yeah, actually, let's check that. So let's look at mobile browsers and can I use bind? Because I think it's, like, most for, what? Oh, wow, bind is not supported in Android 4.4. I did not know that. Oh, no, this is object.observe. I was about to say, no, where's the bind function? ECMAScript 5. Okay, well, oh, that's right. Can I use doesn't break it down. You have to go to this other thing. See support for function prototype bind. Yeah, that's what I want to see. I always found this site really hard to use. Okay, so let's try to find Android. Okay, so Android 4.4 Plus supports bind, but do older versions of Android. I think Cordova is on Android 4 and above now, so as long as it's Android 4 and above, it should be good. So let's find Android. Android 4.0, does it support... This is so hard to use. Okay. Does it support bind? Let's see. Yes, okay, it does support bind. Okay, so this should be safe. And as for iOS, I don't actually remember. Let's see. iOS Safari, when did they add bind? 5.1.4. Which version of iOS does that correspond to? Safari 5. I think it's a really old version of Safari or of iOS. So I think we can assume that bind is okay. Oh, that's really convenient. Thanks. I didn't know that. Huh. Okay. Thanks. That's convenient. Yeah. We probably should have used that when we upgraded from JS Hint. Actually, I'm going to say migrated instead of upgraded. I don't like making a value judgment about JS Hint. Anyway, so, okay, I was trying to figure out if I can use bind. So I think I can use bind. Let's just use bind. The one thing that's kind of tricky with this, though, that I just realized that, okay, this looks solid to me. This change looks good. If the SQLite plugin is there, then we'll use it. We'll use its open database method. The problem is that the SQLite plugin added a bunch of incompatible API changes, like not compatible with WebSQL. Like WebSQL typically takes like 4 arguments. I think it's like the name of the database, the version, the description of the database, and the size. And they changed it so they actually take 1 argument, and that's an object that contains like name, description, size, and all that. And I remember when this broke in pouchdb a while ago, because it just, like the SQLite plugin, this is kind of one of those problems I have with the SQLite plugin. Like I hate to badmouth anything, but like anything anyone does. But unfortunately, I kind of have to call out the SQLite plugin for this. Like, they changed their API, and it was a breaking change, and they don't use semver in this library, so it's really difficult to like figure out when a breaking change was made to the API, like what to do. Because this is kind of like an old school Cordova plugin, and the way it's installed is like, yeah, you just install it directly from GitHub. It's not on npm or anything, so and it's really hard to, and like it doesn't really have a changelog or anything either. So yeah, so unfortunately what this means is that this change that I made is not going to work with the original SQLite plugin. However, it will work with SQLite plugin 2, which I wrote recently, and I've been trying to convince people to use. I like it. I think it's a good idea. Maybe it complicates things by confusing people by adding a new library on top. Like, it's basically a fork. But basically, I was tired of like all the breaking changes in the SQLite plugin, and like the fact that it doesn't use semver and all that stuff. So so LocalForage would work with this change I'm making. It would not work with SQLite plugin. However, I think I can easily add support. Oh shoot, no, I can't. I can't because they added another breaking change, which was that you need to pass into that object I mentioned. You have to pass in location, which is like a special key that only means something for the SQLite plugin 1. So anyway, long story short, this fix is only going to work for SQLite plugin 2, which is kind of my weird thing that I just wrote and isn't very popular yet. And I hate to like kind of foist on people, like, here, use this thing, I wrote it, even though I think it's better than the original. But this fix would work for the original SQLite plugin. Unfortunately, it's really difficult to test. I don't feel like opening up a pull request on LocalForage saying, hey, why don't you run Appium over Sauce Labs over iOS, Android, like running in an actual app with a web view. It's really, really hard to get those kind of tests running. It took me forever to get that working with the SQLite plugin. How's my video looking, by the way? Oh, okay, my head's kind of getting cut off. That's cool. The sun's kind of in my face right here. I put up my makeshift bed sheet as a curtain, but anyway. So I guess I can open this pull request, and I mean they can do with it as they wish, because like I really don't want to write support for the original SQLite plugin. It'd be a lot of extra code, and I also kind of don't want to. I do want to promote my thing. You know, I think it's better than the original. It's better tested. It's faster. There's a lot of improvements to it. So on the other hand, what I will do is I will edit the README when I make this change. One thing I often do when I open pull requests is I also change the README, because I find it's not only useful for users, like users need to know when you change something, right? Like how to use this feature that you added or something. It's not only useful for that, it's also useful for maintainers, because maintainers can go in and they can see, okay, the README changed, and that's the first thing I look for, right? If a README changed, because then I can see like a summary of the change you made, basically, because maybe your pull request doesn't explain it very well, but the README does, you know? So I'm going to mention this. Custom drivers, you can create your own custom driver. I mean, yeah, I guess you could use a custom driver for the SQLite plugin thing, but I don't feel like you should, you know? I don't. Maybe he's right. Maybe this is more of the LocalForage way of doing things. Oh, wait, it does have a custom driver for SQLite. Oh, look at that. Well, I'll be damned. See, this is why it's good to actually look at the wiki. Yeah, look at this. Someone already wrote the thing I was going to write. Wait, what is this? Oh, someone must have just copy-pasted the code. Huh. Oh, yeah, they'd have to, because they'd have to just copy-paste the code for the WebSQL adapter. And then they probably use the SQLite plugin. Yeah, globalobject.sqlite plugin.opendatabase. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so, well, this thing already exists. So you know what? Maybe the real solution here is to just fix the docs. Because, like, if nobody's using this, then it's because the docs aren't very clear. So, I've never heard of this thing before. I've never seen anyone ask about it. And why are there two? Because like these are both the same thing, right? Cordova SQLite driver. Is it the same thing? Maybe he rewrote it from scratch. What is it using? No, it's using the SQLite plugin. Yeah. So okay. Oh, okay. Well, I should. Yeah, I guess I should just. Well, yeah. You know, maybe this pull request isn't very useful. Maybe this is more the LocalForage way of doing things. I don't think it's a good approach myself, but I can understand where they're coming from. So maybe I shouldn't open that pull request. Oh yeah, I totally missed this. He said already working on such an approach. Hey, I just noticed that custom driver. Can you explain is there a difference between those two SQLite plugin drivers? The one you wrote and the one, there were like two, right? Like someone, where was that wiki page? I already lost the link. Custom drivers, okay, so list of custom drivers. And the one by EcoStack. I don't know who EcoStack is. Who is that? It's not someone I recognize. Well, anyway, I don't mind app mentioning them. They might be interested in this discussion. Here, just notice the custom drivers. Is there a difference between those two SQLite plugin drivers? In any case, it looks like that does indeed solve my issue, and either one of them would also be compatible with SQLite plugin 2, for what it's worth. Yeah, I'll close this issue. I think it looks like it's already a solved problem. Like, maybe the problem could be solved a bit better by just having better docs. Because I don't think people understand, like, I had never heard of this before. Yeah. Although this is probably the kind of problem that's best solved by a tutorial rather than a change to the README, because I think we just need like step-by-step instructions to explain how to use the SQLite plugin with LocalForage. Anyway, but it seems like there is a solution. Although it is kind of weird though that they had to fork the implementation basically. It's fine. You know what? It's fine. When in Rome. Okay, good. So this pull request is passing now. That's good. I just wanted to make sure it was at 100% passing. But I opened this pull request, and our policy on pouchdb is that you need a +1 from someone else. So I'm just going to leave this open, and probably someone will go in and review it. So I'll just wait for that. Yeah. So let's see. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna save this change. Well, maybe I'll save this because I want to hold on to it. I'll just push it to my own fork. Maybe it'll come in handy someday. But yeah, I think that was the wrong approach. Like, he's probably right. Like, there's already an existing adapter for it. There's already docs explaining how to use it. Like, people can use that. I guess I just thought it was an unsolved problem in LocalForage. But okay, so let's not deal with that. Well, I wanted to get below 100 unread GitHub notifications, but it seems that a new one was opened while I was working on this, so it's kind of unfortunate. Oh! It's like 5 Tamley went in there. It might actually be helping out. Oh, thanks. Hey, here's a nice thing about me doing this streaming thing is that like I said, I don't understand blueprints. Then someone came in and made a comment because I know that Stanley like really knows Ember. I see him all the time in like Ember, the Ember community. So what's he saying? I think a serializer's application, JS, and the blueprints would be a great start. Users should get prompted if there's a conflict, but having the README could make it a first step that could lead to confusing bugs if missed. Huh. That's interesting. What? So does it make more sense to just open the to have the pull request, but without the change to the README? Is that the deal? I'm not actually sure what he's saying. Ask him. Yeah. Okay. Somebody commented on this. Did I already comment on this? I don't think I even looked at this issue. Oh, okay, good. See, this is why it's good sometimes to just not even pay attention to issues, because it's like, big discussion, people going back and forth. At the end, my problem is solved, he says, or he or she says. So I don't need to really worry my pretty little head about it too much, which is good. Probably the same thing here. You have to duplicate. Okay, cool. So that's all done. Yay! So now we're below 100. Hey. All right, that's awesome. I'm gonna go celebrate by taking a quick bathroom break, but I'll be back in 5 minutes. Anyone's still actually watching? This is like the silliest thing. This YouTube open source live stream. But I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying this a lot. Okay, 6 people. I've lost some viewers. That's okay. It's not the most entertaining thing in the world. I can't blame you. Oh, and it's not smooth streaming. Yeah, maybe my ISP is starting to cut me off. I'm not sure. Sorry about that. I'll check the quality later. Anyway, I'll probably come back and maybe do this for another half an hour or so. But I reached my quota. I'm at below 100 notifications, so I'm happy about that. All right, be right back. All right. Okay. Everybody still hanging on? Still entertained? We lost someone. Yeah. That's the thing. You gotta you gotta keep up the pace for your viewers, otherwise they might get bored. Anyway, so let's get back. Let's try to get some more issues done, eh? Okay, so solve that. New comments. Nope. Okay. Somebody asked about TypeScript support in PouchdB authentication. I think that's not really an issue for that repo. I believe TypeScript works by definition. I believe those are usually created in separate repos, right? Like PouchDB has TypeScript definitions, but it's in a separate repo. Yeah, I was gonna say that. Well, I could be wrong. Yeah. This is often the kind of thing I say. I mean, I can't do everything, you know? Like, I mean, look, I've got 100 unread issues. Like, I really can't do everything. Oh, Stanley's still on. Cool. Huh. Interesting. Okay. It's good to know. I really haven't been keeping up with Ember data. I think when I wrote this thing, it was for Ember data 0 dot something. I don't even remember what. And I really haven't been keeping track of it since about Ember data 1.0. Unfortunately, I don't really use Ember. I don't use it in my day job or in my personal projects. I've been meaning to take a second look at it and try it again, because I really did like it. What do I want to look at? Oh, this is kind of interesting. Someone opened an issue on my JSON debugger. It's been a while since I've looked into this project. That is a good feature. It's a good idea for a feature, but I just don't know if I'm going to do this. This project is like a kind of an old project I worked on that lets you create JSON grammars and then debug it. And what this person is talking about is they're saying it'd be cool if you could like send a link, which I guess what they mean is like you'd create a grammar, and then you would send this page to people. So like you create your own custom grammar and then you'd send it, which yeah, would be kind of a neat feature. I don't really plan on adding much to this project though. I kind of finished this project and I considered it done, and then I haven't really looked at it in months. So I'll just say that would be a neat feature if you added, if you opened a pull request. I would happily merge it. I think that's probably the right response, because it's true, and like a lot of times people do open an issue just to kind of test the waters and to ask, like, is this even something that you envision for this project? With, the subjects being like, should I actually invest any effort in this? Which is a reasonable question to ask, because if it's something that I don't think is within the scope of the project, then like I'll tell you straight up, I'll say like, no, that doesn't really sound like a good idea for the project. Or I'll say like, maybe you should open, open a separate repo. Like I said for that guy before who was talking about Flash support for Node WebSQL, right? Like that's a perfect case where like you can make a separate project and it's fine. In fact, sometimes I even tell people to fork, because sometimes it does make sense to fork a project, All right, let's keep going. Okay, I don't know why. You know what? This is actually a good point for me to just get. I don't know why I'm watching this Electron demo thing. I think I'm watching most things in the Level project, but I really don't contribute much to it. It's been a while since I've contributed anything to this organization, but I think I'm on the organization, so that's why I'm watching. So I'm just going to turn off watching, because I really don't know much about this repo, nor can I help much. I mean, I can take a look just because I'm kind of curious now, but no, it's just a Greenkeeper thing. I mean, I guess I could merge this. I have merge rights. I don't think I've ever merged anything for this project, but I guess it'd be pretty harmless to merge this pull request, because it's a Greenkeeper pull request. Yeah, maybe it does make sense to merge this. What? I don't remember what this project is. It's just a demo app for Electron. I don't know. It's really not my project. I've never contributed to it. I feel kind of weird. It looks like it hasn't really been maintained for a while either. I mean, it's a demo app, like. Yeah, you know what? Since I'm actually here, I'll just go in and, let's try to make it look like this project's not totally abandoned, right? Kind of looks sad. So I'm just gonna close all of these old pull requests. And this is one of the problems with Greenkeeper, I'd say, is that like if you really don't want to maintain a project, you should probably not have Greenkeeper enabled for it. Like this is a perfect example of a project that you should like write once and you shouldn't ever really look into again. It's like it's a demo project. It's a tutorial. And in fact, it doesn't have any tests as far as I can tell, so it's even kind of dangerous to merge these pull requests, because maybe it won't work. You know what? Maybe it won't work with the latest version of Electron. Oh, there you go. Speak of the devil. Who called it? Who called it right now? Look at this. Not compatible with releases greater than 0.36.12. Actually, let's look at this, because this actually does affect me, because, or rather, it affects pouchdb, because if level down is not working in the latest versions of Electron, then that means pouchdb is not working in the latest versions of Electron. So that's kind of troubling. So let's actually check that out. So I just closed all the older Greenkeeper pull requests. He says greater than 36.12. So, okay, so let's test this, actually. Let's just do that. So I don't know if I have this project checked out. I don't think I do, but I can check it out. Level Electron demo. Oh, no, I do have it checked out. Okay. Oh, that's right. I did open a pull request on this a while ago. Yeah. Okay, I remember now. Anyway, so let's remove the node modules and reinstall from scratch, just because I'm paranoid. And I want to test to make sure master is working. And then I'm going to test this issue that they opened, because that's kind of scary if that's actually true. It probably depends on the environment, though. It looks like, so this says Darwin 15.3, so that means it was Apple. It was OS 10. So I should be able to reproduce it on my machine. It might depend on which version of Node they're using, though. So they're using Node 4.3. Okay. So let's see if I can reproduce anyway. NPM's going to take forever. Oh man, this is going to be fun. Alright. Wow, I'm still doing this. I'm still live streaming my open source stuff. That's kind of interesting. Alright. I'm probably going to stop at some point. This is, I'm getting kind of tired. It's almost time for dinner. Okay, but let's see if I can test this one issue, because I'm just kind of curious. Why is it reinstalling LevelDB from scratch? Oh, right, because it has a post-install step. Actually, that's the pull request I made on this repo. I totally forgot about that. You have to reinstall LevelDB for Electron in order to get it to work in Electron, which actually takes quite a while. It's kind of annoying. And that's actually where this issue that they raised came from, because you can tell this was during the compilation step. Like, this was when it was trying to compile some .h file, so that's a C file. So that's probably what happened. So let's at least try master and see if this is working. It should be working. What's the command again? npm start. Right. Okay, so this is the demo. So I guess it's working. Window.db equals whatever. Yeah, okay. db. Yeah, okay, so this does seem to be working. Okay. Okay, so now let's see if it's true. The way we'll figure out this is true, we can reproduce by just pulling in this Greenkeeper pull request. Let's do hub, what is it, hub checkout? Yeah, that's nice. Thank you, Jake, for telling me about this. I didn't know about this command. That's really convenient. Then let's do an npm update. So this should pull in the latest version of Electron pre-built, and we'll find out very quickly if it fails to compile. Even though I'm using a different version of Node than this person, I'm using Node 5.9. Let's find out, because I'm just curious. This could just be gremlins. Like sometimes it just fails to compile, and if you just remove node modules and try again, then it works. And so this could be one of those cases. Maybe we'll get lucky. Okay, let's see. So we got Electron pre-built. Okay. Oh, right. Wait a minute. Why didn't it reinstall? Isn't it supposed to do? Does npm update do a? Maybe npm update doesn't do the post install step. Okay, let's just do npm install. That should do the post install. Okay, yeah, now it's doing it. Okay, so if it fails, we'll find out now. Maybe we're lucky. Maybe it was something that was fixed between version 36 and 37.6. This was opened 11 days ago. And this person is on the project, so I assume they know what they're talking about. I mean, that's not always a fair assumption in both directions. Like, sometimes people come out of the blue and surprise you with their knowledge, This person seems like they, this is probably not a spurious issue. They probably actually ran into this problem. But it works for me in the latest version, so apparently it got fixed. Let's make sure it's working. Window.db, right? It's in there. I guess I can just test it real quick to make sure. What is it? I'm trying to remember the level up API. db dot, is it add or set or something? Like, how can I set something on it? Put. Yeah, put. So put takes key value options, callback. Yeah, so put. Let's put foobar and we'll put in callback. Okay, so there's no error. Good. And now if I get that foo, it should work. Okay, it worked. So yeah, so this is working. Okay, cool. So all I have to do is actually, so number one, I can merge this pull request, which is good. This is totally safe to merge now. I was going to merge with the command line because it's a bit easier. So check out master, merge with that thing. Do a quick git k to make sure that I merged the right thing. Yes, everything looks good. Okay. And let's push it. And then I'll say, okay, 0.37.6. Okay, I tested 0.37.6 on OS 10 LCAP with node 5. What am I on? Node 5.9. Just fine. Maybe this is something that was fixed between, what did he say? 36.12, 0.36.12 and 0.37.6. If not, please reopen. I'm going to mention, I also merged the relevant PR from Greenkeeper. Okay. Okay. So I think I can just close this now. Cool. So, alright, so this project has been updated and the issue has been closed. There's still a bunch of pull requests. I'm not super interested in testing everything with this project right now. This is just a demo project. Like, it's not really worth that much attention. I'm gonna just mark everything as red. Okay, let's call that done. How am I doing notifications? Let's see. Okay. Actually, am I still watching this project? You know what? I think I started unwatching it. I'll keep watching it. I'm kind of interested in it, actually. It's like, it can be like a canary in the coal mine, right? Like, if something goes wrong with LevelDB on Electron, you'll probably find out about it in that project first. It'd be nice if that project had tests. You could probably set up Zuul tests pretty easily in there, because Zuul lets you run over Electron. But, yeah, I don't really feel like opening tests to do that right now. So anyway, so how am I doing on issues? 94, okay, good. I started at like 150 this morning, so I have made quite a bit of progress. I'm not sure if I got app mentioned in this issue or not. Oh yeah, I was mentioned in this issue. This was from a hoodie project and it has something to do with pouchdb errors, which I mentioned is not maintained anymore, and so I would say just like copy paste it if you have to. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, Gregory, you're right. Status codes are enough. We try to go off of the status codes. So I'm going to use this new feature. I'm just going to say +1 because that is correct. And then I'll go +1 here too. That way I don't have to waste a lot of time saying words, because saying words is hard. Words is hard. You heard it here first, folks. Words is hard. This was an issue I really wanted to get to today. This crypto pouch issue. I think this might be a Calvin issue, though. I think this is really, yeah, this is Calvin's project, so it's really on him to merge this. Gregor and I have been going back and forth on this, and I think we made an update to transform pouch in order to support this new feature that he wanted. Oh, shoot. So Gregor ran into another issue. Wait, isn't this solved now? Because you can just use the latest version of transform pouch that we fixed, right, Gregor? Let's see. What? I'm even blocked by the... No, I closed this one. Okay, I'm just gonna mention real quick. Yeah, I fixed that PR like a few days ago. Or rather, I didn't fix it. I think Gregor and Calvin fixed it, but I merged it. So that should be fixed now. I don't think there's anything more they need for this particular issue. Well, we'll see. Maybe they'll come back to me and say they actually do need something more. So I have some issues in some very, very old projects of mine. This is an Android project, and that's an old web project I made, which I'm kind of not maintaining anymore, so I kind of just don't want to do anything with it. Shoot, this is one of those tricky situations where it's like, I don't want to maintain this super old project, but people are still kind of interested in it, so maybe I should, you know? Oh, yeah, I remember this issue. So this was, well, this is actually worth looking into. So I wrote this tool to make it really easy to browse an S3 directory in Amazon. Like, I use it in mine, for instance. Like, you can go to my Amazon S3 bucket, and it's like, yeah. So what they're saying is that they're saying it doesn't work, but it looks fine to me. Like, wait a minute, what's the bug? What is the directory display issue? Oh, this might have been an issue I closed, actually, because maybe this was one where I was like, no? I don't remember this at all. I don't... See, this is like, if you open up a pull request and you don't explain what you're doing, I don't really understand what's going on. Like what is this? I think I remember, I think this person emailed me or something, like, instead of opening a GitHub issue, which, by the way, don't email open source maintainers. Just open an issue, please. Because it's really awkward to communicate privately over email, and especially when it's out in the public, like, other people can jump in and help out, you know? I think this person might have emailed me to explain this issue, and I vaguely remember what it is. I think that Amazon changed the way that they represent folders in the S3 like XML output, but geez, I don't remember this at all. And actually, it looks fine. It looks like, I mean, it looks like it's working. There's this weird thing where like there's an extra little file showing up here, I guess. Maybe that's the bug. I don't remember this at all. Honestly, I really don't. I'm just gonna ask for a clarification. Yeah, need clarification. Alright. Okay, so there's one issue down. Yeah, this project I'm also not really maintaining anymore. This is an old Android component that I wrote. And I don't remember this library enough to even know what's going on here. I think what's going on here... Shoot, I really don't remember this project at all. Yeah, and also this project didn't have any tests. Like I wrote this thing a long time ago, and I was very YOLO about it. I mean, I even gave it like a stupid name. I named it after a Dragon Ball Z concept. I mean, I haven't updated this thing in, geez, how long? 2014. I really don't remember this project, and I don't have any tests, so I kind of feel like I should just be honest with this person. I'm not really sure what to give them advice on. I think that might be the issue. Maybe I'm wrong. I can't remember the API for this thing. Sectionize. What was I even thinking with these names? Yeah, I think I set it up so you can only do it once. Yeah, I think actually that's the issue. I don't think I intended you to be able to call it multiple times. Yeah, well, that's about the best I can do. Just try to help them out. This is an issue when you do open source for a long time, is that you find, like, people come out of the woodwork to ask you questions about something you haven't looked at in, like, 5 years, you know? And, I mean, I want to help everybody, but I used to respond to every email I got about every project I worked on, but actually recently I stopped doing that. If someone sends me an email and I don't respond, that's pretty much par for the course now. And I often don't respond to GitHub issues either, because I just don't have time, you know? This isn't even my project. This is a fork of one of my projects, so I'm not really a part of this thing. But I'll +1 this, because I think it would make sense to publish it on F-Droid. He's right. Anyway, okay, how am I doing on issues? Alright, 89, cool. I'm actually lower than 90. I only expected to get lower than 100. I have seen this issue. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I've seen this before. Yeah, limit the number of files that you're uploading. npm. I found that usually fixes it. And it's also kind of a good habit. That's actually a thing I started doing recently, is that almost all my npm projects now, I use this files thing in the package.json. Because then you, instead of doing like npm ignore, you can just tell it exactly which files to upload, and then usually that's much better, and like you don't include tests or JS-rc or things like that. So it's usually a good practice anyway, and I found it helped out. But this is definitely a bug, and often what I do in these cases, I said bug and then help wanted, because I would love for someone to go in and fix this, and I kind of provided like an idea of like here's the part of the code that I think is the fix, like, but I really don't have time to look into this right now, so I'm just gonna add it to my backlog of stuff I'm working on. This is one of those issues I think I can get to once I have a chance, but as of right now, I just want to get through the open issues. Oh wait, this goes under the local-npm category. Yeah, I mean, step 1 with GitHub is inbox 0. Step 2 is actually fixing stuff. I mean, it's really important to respond to people, you know. Because nobody likes when you open up an issue and then like it goes for like a month and you never get a response. You know, that sucks. But if you ever wondered why you got that kind of response, I mean, you're seeing it now. It's because, you know, I'm doing this on the weekend on my free time instead of going out and enjoying the sunshine. You know, like instead of spending time with friends and family, I am responding to GitHub issues. And yeah, so yeah, so please don't feel slighted if I don't immediately respond. Okay, so let's see if there's another issue I can... Okay, I think I can plow through these LocalForage issues pretty quickly because I'm mostly just kind of looking at LocalForage. I'm not really actively working on it. Observable. This is not something you could even do, actually. No, this is actually something that's not technically feasible right now. At least with IndexedDB and WebSQL. It does work with local storage. So as a hacky workaround, you can actually just emit or like toggle a key on local storage, and whenever there's a change. Or actually, no, I guess you can solve this. Yeah, you could solve this by emitting events whenever something happens in LocalForage, but yeah, I guess you could implement this. Yeah, you wouldn't even need to use local storage. No, you would. Yeah, so actually you would have to use local storage for this. You can actually just toggle a key on local storage whenever something changes. And then local storage emits an event. I don't actually remember what it's called, but if I look it up on W3C spec, I know I'll find it. We actually use this in pouchdb. The reason we use it is because it's the only way to communicate across tab boundaries when something changes. I think it's actually the only way to communicate across tab boundaries in general, or it's like, yeah, I think it might be the only way. Well, besides like a shared worker or something. Yeah, there's a storage event, yeah. So I'm going to link to this. By the way, I don't know if there's a better way to do this, but whenever I want to link to something in a document, I just check to see what the ID is, and then just append it, and then I can link directly to it. What, does that not work, really? Oh, whoops, no. We want to link here, yeah, okay. So, yeah, it emits an event, which means you can also communicate across tab boundaries this way. On the other hand, you may want to wait because they actually are adding this to the IndexedDB spec. They're actually in the process of adding event listeners to the IndexedDB spec. Where did I see this mentioned? I think someone at Google emailed me about it. I think it was Drew Knox. Where was that spec? Oh, it was on GitHub, yeah. Event listeners, IndexedDB. It was on like the What Working Group GitHub page or something. I can't find the link now. Yeah, like, I know there's like... Shoot. I know that someone started speccing this out. I think it was on the What Working Group GitHub. I could have sworn it was on here. I can't find the link. Oh no, it must be on the... No, it's on the IndexedDB What Working Group GitHub page, right? I think someone opened it as an issue, or as... There was an explainer somewhere. Shoot. I'm really bad at managing all this like W3C, what working group stuff. Like, yeah, I'm really bad at tracking these things. I'll have to dig up the email, but shoot. Yeah, there's a spec that somebody drafted. Yeah. Jeez, where was that? Was that on the W3C GitHub page? Yeah, I think it was. It was in, so github.com/w3c/IndexedDB, right? It was in here. I could have sworn. There was an issue about, yeah, I can't find it. Shoot. Maybe I can ping Drew Knox, actually, because he would know where to find it. He's on GitHub. He's got to be, right? So I'll ping him. Shoot, what is his GitHub? Okay, there he is. So I'll just ping him. Okay, I'll just ping him on it because he'd be very interested in this, actually, because he asked me how interested I was in this, in the proposal for the in the proposed change to the IDB spec to allow for it to emit events when data changes. And I told him I wasn't terribly interested because pouchdb actually implements all of that on top of IndexedDB, and we have our own transactional system and everything. But I told him I'm sure a lot of other IndexedDB wrappers would be very interested in this, and obviously like the LocalForage folks are really interested in this. So yeah, so he'll be pleased to see this actually, that there's all this discussion about how to make LocalForage observable. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Question: share a data across multiple subdomain. Ooh, I can answer this one. Oh, I know the answer to this one. Okay, this is nice. So as it turns out, this is actually something that is a security issue in browser storage, and it does not let you do this. Just does not. That is, you cannot store data across subdomains like this. This is actually a browser storage security issue. And in fact, none of local storage, WebSQL, IndexedDB can be shared across domains or across subdomains. They are part of the same origin policy which sandboxes data. This is to prevent malicious sites from, e.g., malicious.geocities.com, e.g. malicious sites from, e.g. malicious.geocities.com, spying on data from another site like innocent.geocities.com. So the browser actually does not allow you to do this at all. I wish I was a member of this repo, because then I could just close the issue. But they haven't given me ownership over the project yet. But I put in my dues. I think they will eventually. I've opened a lot of pull requests on LocalForage. Issue with required.js and concatenated scripts. It seems like Theodorus has already handled this issue, so I don't need to do anything here. Make it clear the no promises version just isn't without promises API. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, they're right. That actually is kind of confusing. All it does is it just doesn't include the promise polyfill. Yeah, I actually agree with this statement. Yeah, I would say +1 to this, especially if we switch to lie or to, somebody today told me about another promise library that was about the same size as lie. I think it was made by Getify. Yeah, native promise only. Then the size of the promise polyfill will be really negligible, between 1 KB and 2 KB, min plus gzip, i.e. nothing. Yeah, I think the LocalForage API is complicated by adding this special no promises version. Yeah, I think it'd make more sense just to build one version. We don't do that in pouchdb either, because it's like it only shaves off like a KB and a half. There's really no point. So I'm also going to go in here and add a thumbs up, because I like using these new GitHub emoji reactions. Okay, so making good progress on that. I think I was pinged on this issue because I was asked about... Why was I pinged on this issue? Because I wrote Rollupify. Yeah, I don't think this is really relevant to me. I'm not super interested in this, so I'm going to close it. Okay, I still have a bunch of stuff to use. Oh, that's a good idea, actually. So this project that I wrote is kind of... Yeah, this is an older Android app that I wrote that has kind of been superseded. I actually added... I love this. I added this little custom badge that just says that it's unmaintained, because I don't maintain this thing anymore. I get tons of emails from people about this, but I just don't maintain it anymore. And I mentioned there's a fork someone wrote that's that looks a lot nicer, that is probably better to use. But what is the issue here? Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. So he proposes changing the URL. I think the guy who forked started off with like a Google Plus community to do like a beta run of the app, and now it's at GitHub instead. So it probably does make sense to just update the link. I'm going to just make sure it's the right project. Yeah, I remember this guy. Yeah, this is the project. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I will just update the link. Okay, so let's merge this. Merge. And we're done. Okay, cool. Alright, what next? Hoodie client task. I'm not really familiar with this project, but I will at least glance at the... Oh, no, I did participate in this. Yeah, I participated in this Welcome to Open Source event like a few weeks ago, but I don't really have much to add anymore. I wasn't actually there physically. I was just there online. Oh, this is an old issue. Man, I opened this pull request a long time ago. It looks like they still haven't merged it. The bug is that debug does not work in a web worker. Any update on this? I just realized debug is not working in service workers nor web workers, which should be considered a bug. This definitely should be merged ASAP. Well, I mean, I agree with this person, but I don't have any control over this. I don't have any control over this repo. I just opened the pull request, and they're free to merge it if they want to. Yeah, I don't know. If they want to merge it, they can, but I think this is a TJ Hollowaychuk project. I don't think he's super active anymore. That's probably what's going on here. Kind of can't blame him, because I didn't add any new tests for this or anything. I felt like it was a pretty trivial change. But anyway. Okay, so that's the thing. Oh, good. Here's a whole class of things I can just mark as red. I did not really participate in this project. I was there kind of in spirit, and it's over now, so yeah, let's just mark it all as red. Awesome. Now I'm very quickly plowing through my issues. 69. Okay. Man, that is worth celebrating. Oh wait. Stanley came back. Yeah, okay. Cool, so I'm down to 68 now. How long have I been streaming for? Good God, is anyone still watching? This can't be that entertaining, come on. I bet you I'm down to four users, 4 viewers. 10. Okay, it's actually gone up. Okay, someone came back. I've been streaming for 3 hours. Where's the live girls at? Oh, hey, Lox is in here. That's funny. Hey, how's it going, Lox? Hey. Yeah, I'm still alive. I'm still streaming. Yeah, I actually have made some progress. I started at, what, 130 GitHub notifications, and now I'm down to 68. That's worth tweeting about. I'm going to tweet that. This is a fun project, actually. This is kind of silly, but it's fun. It feels less alone to work on GitHub issues and, like, to have people, like, you know, responding to me on chat and even responding in GitHub itself, which is really neat. Yeah, this is actually more fun than I would have had on a Friday or a Saturday, just doing this without streaming. So, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna... How many issues did I start out with? 127, okay. Wow. It took me 3 hours, though. Still, that's worth celebrating. What did I start at? I started at, what did I say, 127? Make sure I don't misrepresent myself when I report these numbers. Because you guys can all see my screen, so you know if I'm lying. If I'm saying that I resolved more issues than I really did. Yeah, I started at 127. Okay. Whew. Oh, man. Just 68. Oops. My fan is going crazy. Oh, that's because I have this live dashboard open. Ooh, that sounds sweet. Yeah, for everyone watching, by the way, I'm not really paying attention to this chat because it's this YouTube page kills my CPU. The fan is just going nuts right now. So I've actually just been using the Slack channel on the pouchdb Slack. Oops, over here. In the streaming channel. So there are links in the video if you want to go and chat. Anyway, so yeah, so yeah. You guys can watch me compose my tweets and try to come up with the perfect determiner, right? The perfect article. That's funny. Linguists say determiner, and like English majors say article, but it means the same thing, right? I'm definitely making progress, though. Okay, so, well, 7 p.m. I'm gonna try to keep going. I'm making good progress. Did this... Okay, good. I got a green check mark on this one. I'm still waiting for a green on that one. What is this issue? I still haven't gotten into pouchdb yet, actually. I've kind of been putting it off. So let's look at this issue. I found this in my logs on Safari Mac using fruitdown adapter. You should probably file this bug in fruitdown then. Undefined is not an object. Ooh. Yeah. Wait, why did you open a pull request? No, this actually is wrong because there should not be an error here. If there's an error, then things have gone very, very bad. This is definitely either a bug in fruitdown or it's a bug in Safari's implementation of IndexedDB. Probably the latter, I would say. So, actually, in that part of the code, error should really, really, really never be defined. If level down, or if the down adapter ever throws an error, then something is wrong with that adapter. In this case, I'm guessing the bug is either in fruitdown, or it's in Safari's implementation of IndexedDB. So if you could report your Safari version and ideally attest to reproduce, that would be awesome. Actually, Safari iOS version. I think I actually remember someone reporting a similar issue in fruitdown. So probably this is a duplicate. Yeah, I'll bet you anything this is a dupe. Yeah. Is this a dupe of this one? I feel like it's a dupe. Was it the type of error? No. What did he say the bug was? Undefined is not an object. Not an No? Yeah, I would just say file a new issue, actually. Oh, looks like Rooney Rune filed an issue on the WebKit bug tracker. I wish he had provided a link to it, though. I'd be interested to see it. But it's almost undoubtedly a bug in IndexedDB on Safari. Okay, I'm just gonna close here because this is definitely not a pull request I want to merge anyway. Like, so to be fair, inside of the LevelDB adapter, there's lots of places where like we have this callback style and we just kind of ignore error because it should be undefined. So maybe we should go in there and clean it up and add something where like if error is defined, then we like throw a more meaningful error saying like, wow, the level down adapter just totally barfed, and we don't know why. But it should never happen. And so, yeah, this is definitely not the right fix anyway. Like, the issue is either in fruitdown or in Safari IndexedDB. So, yeah. But, I should say thanks for filing the issue though. I always try to encourage people because when you just close an issue and you kind of dismiss it, like they might feel like you're like dismissing them or something. And adding a smiley face is always helpful. Okay, all right, so making progress. I wanted to ask for Money Rune. Can you post a link to the issue you filed on WebKit? Curious to know more. I tried to track all the IndexedDB issues in WebKit just out of curiosity, and so yeah, I'd like to know what's going on. What's going on with that? Okay, so I'm putting off local-npm for now. I might get to it later, but I'm trying to get through everything else first. Okay. Let's look at these pull requests. I should probably look at pull requests before issues because if someone opens a pull request, that's kind of a considerable amount of effort that they put into your project, and like they kind of deserve a response, Like if someone opens an issue, like whatever, they might be just asking a question or whatever, like. But someone opening a pull request, like that's kind of dedication, Oh, okay, I remember this. So this person is updating the README. Who's texting me on Twitter? That's funny. So Sam Saccone says he's gonna start streaming now. All right, I'm gonna respond to him. It's funny. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so let's keep going, right? Why not? Okay, so this person opened up an issue on the README, and unfortunately it failed in Travis. And it's not really this person's fault because they just changed the README and Travis started failing. And I know that the reason that Travis is failing is because there were a bunch of changes I made to this project a long time ago, and then the test started failing, and I kind of just threw it onto my bucket list of like, you know, I mentioned this list of like, I kind of keep this meta list of things that I'm working on because GitHub issues and notifications are just not really sufficient for tracking all the open source stuff that I'm working on. Especially just, I mean, even something as simple as a mark as unread would be really, really useful, but they don't have that. And so basically this is kind of my mark as unread. Like I resolved this today. So I try to go in, I try to just keep track of stuff that I need to fix. And this is a thing, yeah. The test for this project started failing recently, and I didn't have time to look into it, so I just kind of noted it. So, but that's not really this person's fault. Like, they just opened up a change to the README, and it's failing, so it's not really their fault. I'm willing to just kind of merge this as is. I need to go back and fix the test later. I didn't know. Wait, what are they talking about? I don't think this API exists. I'm not sure what they're talking about. Oh, he added this API. So this is a tough issue because this one, so first off, I mean, this project is already like, the tests aren't failing in master, which makes me really, really nervous. So, and then on top of that, yeah, they didn't add any new tests. So basically, if I was to merge this, I would have to kind of just like hope and pray that the tests pass. And I mean, maybe I could say like, that's like the ship has already sailed because the tests are already failing. But I mean, the tests were succeeding at one point for this project, and this is an entirely new API that this person just proposed. And I mean, it seems like it might be reasonable. I'm not sure why it's even needed. Actually, I'm not sure if this is reasonable because what they want is they want an HTTP proxy, but no. I think this is something that should be solved in like Nginx. Like, yeah, I really don't think it's the responsibility of this project. I should mention what this project is. This is SocketPouch, which is basically PouchDB replication implemented over WebSockets. So you can have like a server that you talk to over WebSockets, and then it replicates with either CouchDB or PouchDB server up on the server side, and then it replicates over WebSockets to the browser, PouchDB running in the browser. But I kind of feel like this should be solved with Nginx or Apache reverse proxy. Like, I've done WebSocket SSL before, and I'm pretty sure that that is just like supported out of the box with Nginx. So I hate to just like close this issue because I can see this person put some time into it, but I just don't think it's really like, yeah, I just don't think it's needed. Sorry, but I think this kind of functionality is maybe better addressed by, e.g., Nginx Apache reverse proxy. I'm pretty sure you can just wrap the existing implementation in an Nginx Apache reverse proxy, and it should be able to handle SSL exactly as you say. Please reopen if I'm wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure that this API addition isn't strictly necessary, and I would prefer to keep the code base smaller if possible. Thank you for the contribution, though, and do feel free to well, I don't want to ask them to like fork it, or I hate telling people to fork because that's like, it's such a cop out to just say like, oh, you should just fork my repo. That's it even sounds dismissive, right? So I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna say thank you. And I'll say okay. I'm gonna close this other one for the same reason. I really prefer it to be in one PR. I don't know why they opened 2 PRs. Okay, we see this other comment for explanation into why I am closing this. Please also reopen, or please reopen as necessary. Okay, I think that's fair. I really need to go into this project to fix the tests. Okay, kind of responded here. Actually, wait, let me listen to him. Maybe he has a good reason. Instead of making separate listeners for Express and Socket Pouch. Yeah, I think he just doesn't, or this person just doesn't know that you can use an Apache or Nginx reverse proxy for this. I think that's the issue. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I think an Apache Nginx reverse proxy can serve your needs perfectly here. I actually experimented with this a while ago. I think I wrote a blog post on it, in fact. I wonder if that would help him. I could have sworn I wrote about this. Could have sworn I wrote a blog post about this like a long time ago. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I could have sworn I used. Yeah, I have like an Nginx. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have some sample code showing how to set this up in Nginx over port 80 at least, although you will definitely want to use 443 for SSL. Hopefully that'll point you in the right direction. Okay. Okay. I'm down to 63 issues. Okay, cool. Alright, so I'm still putting off local-npm. Have any more comments? Oh, I have some comments. Ooh, sweet. Yeah, I saw CouchDB get some love at EmberConf. Anyway, I admit I haven't been super on point about maintaining ember-pouch, but I'll admit that I was really impressed with the Ember community, that they basically just took my project and ran with it. It's true, actually. I've never seen a community do that before. Like, I've interfaced with like Angular people, React people, Cordova people, like people who work on lots of different frameworks. And Ember was the one where it's like, I made this Ember thing and I kind of just like churned it out in a weekend. And it was pretty good, but not great. And then suddenly like 7 people stepped in and were like, oh, we'll just maintain this for you. And we are really, really excited about Ember. We know all the changes that are coming in Ember, and we're like really like up to date on everything that's happening in Ember data 1.0.2 and the difference between that and 1.0.1. And I just like I didn't have to do anything, and I just like gave them commit rights on my repo, and they just totally took it over. It was really awesome to watch, actually. I was really happy about that. So Ember is a really, really cool community. Okay. Okay, let's look at this issue. So this was an extension to the virtual DOM library that I wrote, and I'm pretty sure this actually got fixed. That I didn't have support for SoftSetHook. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, this did get fixed. Yeah, so it got fixed by this issue, which was issue number 3. Yep, fixed by. Oh, Jake, that's funny. I was just talking to you today. Okay, cool. So that issue's fixed. This is interesting. Wait, someone opened the... Wait, what is this? Aw, I like when people do that. Sometimes people just open an issue and they say thank you. Yeah, it's really nice to get an issue where someone just thanks you for writing a thing. Okay, cool. Oh, this was an interesting... Ooh, I want to get into this one. No, I should deal with pull requests first because, like I was saying, it's more important to deal with pull requests before issues. Because those people, you know, they put some effort into what you're doing, and you should give them a little love. And I have not looked at this pull request in 16 days. Oh my god, that is so irresponsible to me. Oof, this sounds ambitious. Okay, so this is for my. This is another one of my additions to the virtual DOM library, kind of a plugin basically. Oof, this is tough. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even think this is possible. I don't expect this PR to be accepted right away since it doesn't add any tests, nor does it add the necessary documentation, but I'd rather have you take a look at it first and see what you think. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. So, okay, yeah. So, how does he... You can't serialize functions into JSON. Like, that just doesn't work. Sam is tweeting at me. I'm getting distracted, but... Yeah, it's true. It does slow it down a lot. Maybe I want to stop live streaming and just watch Sam's live stream. Huh? That might be more fun. I'm getting pretty tired. It's like 7:20. I've been doing this for 3.5 hours. I'm gonna try to get a little further. And maybe I might watch what Sam is doing. I'm gonna let him know though. Yeah, how many people do I still have watching? Let's see. Let's go back to the YouTube dashboard. The CPU killing YouTube dashboard. Let's see. We're down to 9. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna let everyone know that you're running one because I think that's kind of cool. I think this is a fun idea, right? It's kind of neat to. It's kind of a neat idea. Yeah, I think I might do this for like 15 more minutes. I'm getting kind of tired. I need to eat some dinner and drink some beer. I deserve some beer after this. I plowed through almost half my issues. All right, let's do a few more. Let's do a few more. I want to get to. Oh right, sorry. I wanted to look at this issue, the one where this person is trying to serialize functions. So what I think about this is that I talked to Jed Schmidt about this, and he's a super smart guy. Incredibly smart guy, one of the smartest people I've ever met, and he actually attempted to solve this problem, and he has his own library for doing this that he calls lave, which, like, the joke is it's like eval backwards. I actually told him, I had a better suggestion for a name. Well, not a better suggestion. Lave is a pretty good name for a project. I think I told him, I told him he should call it medieval. Actually, it's a pretty bad name now that I think about it. But it was available on NPM, so that's why I suggested it. But I think it handles... So it basically handles the problem of serialization, serializing things that JSON.stringify wouldn't. And I think it works with functions. I don't know how he even got functions to work. Yeah, he got them to work somehow. So I think that might actually be the better solution. Oops, my CPU is getting killed right now. So let's sign out of this. Okay, so I'm going to mention that because I think that might be a better solution rather than trying to do it yourself. I want to see, though, if this person put in a lot of effort. I always feel bad if someone put in a lot of effort and then, like, my response is just like, I don't like your PR. Like, that's not a cool thing to say. Let's see what they did. VDOM as JSON, JSON.substring. I don't understand. Serialized function. Okay, so here's the juicy part. Serialized function. Where is the serialized function implemented? They didn't implement it? Oh, is this is just a proposal for how to do it? I think he didn't implement serialized function at all. Oh, wait. No? Yeah, where's the serialized function implementation? I don't see it. Okay. Well, I'll give my 2 cents, which is kind of that I really don't think this is... Okay, let me see. Okay, yeah, okay. Actually, maybe we should use lave for this. I'm trying to think, how big is lave? Maybe it wouldn't be such a big deal to include lave as a dependency here. Because it would be kind of nice to support this use case. 20. Oh, wait, that's probably... This usually happens when wizardin takes a while to respond and then it times out. So actually, usually you can just like keep pinging it and then it'll eventually work. Or if you're lazy, you just directly go to wizardin and then just do it. Standalone lave. Okay, good. Wait, why is it not working then? That is weird. Maybe it's cached. Okay, whatever. In any case, I'm just going to download lave and see how big it is. Okay, let's wget it, and let's uglify it. Lave. And then we'll gzip, and then check the size. Whoa. Oh, it's implemented in ES6. And, oh, that's why it was returning an error. Okay, well, I don't really know how big this is then, but let's just, let's not uglify it. Let's just, okay, so it's 12 KB unminified. Yeah. Although the fact that it's, ES6, come on, Jed, like, yeah, Jed, you know not to ship ES6, like, unless you meant to do that? Maybe this is a thing now. Maybe people are shipping ES6 now. I just wasn't aware of it. Well, yeah. Okay. Anyway, in any case, I would say that that's probably the best. Okay, so I'll thank them for... I always thank people for opening up the pull request. Especially if they kind of seem to be a first-time contributor, because I don't want to, like, turn someone off who is just contributing open source for the first time, right? Although, maybe I already did by waiting 16 days. That's pretty lame of me. Okay, thanks for opening this PR for the discussion. For this particular PR, I agree that adding tests... I agree that I can't really... yeah, I can't really merge this without any new tests. That would be step 1. As for serializing functions themselves, I think it might be possible if we added lave as a dependency. Let's just mention if we added lave as a dependency, since it's explicitly meant to handle tricky things like functions. However, I'm not sure how much it can serialize. Like, for like on-click listeners. In the case of on-click listeners, you might want to try it out in your case and see if it fits. That said, if you can get this working with some set of arbitrary functions and add some tests to demonstrate that the functions are doing what you expect them to do, then yeah, I'd be happy to merge. But I think for this particular project, I'm pretty strict about it. I have tests for this project, and I think I require 100% code coverage. So yeah, I do. So definitely that would be like this person would have to add tests if they wanted it, working. So I wish I'd responded to that person earlier, but you know, time, never enough time. Let's look at this issue. Let's look at 2 more issues, and then I'm going to call it quits. So this issue was when I wrote Pokedex.org, I noticed that there were pretty big performance issues on Firefox for Android. On Chrome, it's really, really smooth. Chrome for Android, even on like an old Galaxy Nexus, it's super smooth. But even on new devices, on Firefox, it's really laggy. So I thought it was kind of an interesting like performance test case for the Firefox team. So this issue got opened, and then I was asked for. Oh wow! Okay, that's really cool. So they closed the issue because they opened a bug on Mozilla. That's neat. Whoa! Look at this. We got Pokemon in the Mozilla bug tracker. All right. You can't say I haven't made valuable contributions to open source software when we got Pokemon running amok in Mozilla's bug tracker. That is exceptional. I couldn't be happier about that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's not just poor scrolling perf, it also has poor animation perf, which is weird because it's just regular old CSS 3D transforms, but I am doing a lot of them at once, so it might be overloading the GPU. I'm probably also abusing will change in that project, but I haven't investigated it much. This is interesting. I've been meaning to look into this issue later, but I haven't had time. So, but I'm going to start watching this because actually I would like to be on the CC list. I'll have to log in. What do I usually use with? I think I usually use Mozilla Persona with this project, so or with Firefox. So I'm going to sign in. I love Persona. I wish that Mozilla was still maintaining it. It's a cool idea. Yeah, I'm going to sign in. Let me think. If I show my password manager, is that a problem? If I show it on stream, I'm not going to show it on stream right now because I don't know. That might have some issues. I use Password Gorilla for what it's worth to manage passwords, but I'm not going to do this right now, not on stream, because I can't think if it would expose any sensitive information, but I'd rather not take the risk. So. Oh yeah. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to look at one more issue, and then I'm going to call it a night. So let's see. It was this. I opened this pull request and on Zuul, and I was really having trouble getting it passing their test suite, which is ironic, right? It's a test suite library, and I was having trouble getting the test suite to run. Huh, that's funny. That should not happen. That is weird. It works on my machine. I mean, I'm not sure what to say. I guess I should. I think I already added this to the list of stuff I'm working on to figure out why this. Yeah, why this. Sorry. Yeah, I'm actually just gonna uncheck this because I think. Yeah, I think I just need to put more work into this PR. Is this okay? I'm gonna test this real quick to make sure it's still working for me because I swear this was working when I had this set up. Running and closing. Maybe he's running an old version of Firefox? I think I was on like 45 or later. Let me double check. Actually, I don't need to do this. Which version am I running? Oh, 44. Okay. I can't remember which one I was running. Yeah, I can't remember which one I was running, but it was probably 43 at the time. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so this pull request that I opened was to allow Zuul to run locally in Selenium, which is really nice for Travis, because then you can test on Firefox using Travis's version of Firefox instead of having to go all the way to Sauce Labs, which I just found really convenient for lots of stuff. But I mean, I can understand if the tests are failing, you can't merge it. You know, it's like that's like step number 1 is get the test passing. Okay, well, I've been doing this for 3.5 hours, and I am down to oh, actually, I'm going to do one last thing, and then I'm probably going to sign off. So, okay, figure out Firefox failures in this PR. I'm going to put this at the top of my list, because it is something I want to, this is something I want to get to at some point, because I really like Zuul, and I think it'd be, like, this is like the last thing I need for Zuul to be able to use it in all my projects, basically. That and Cordova support, but that's a lot trickier. So, yeah, so let's just add that to the top of my list. I'll get to it eventually. And for right now, yeah, what are my issues? Down to 58. I'll take that. Yeah. It's dinner time. All right. Well, thanks to everyone who tuned in. Like, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. This was way more fun than I would have had just working on open source stuff on my own. And also, I hope it was kind of enlightening, so that people can see what it's actually like to do open source stuff. Like, it's actually not a whole lot of coding, right? Like, I spent very little time in a code editor, and actually the time I did spend in a code editor, I quickly just said, like, nope, this isn't a good idea, right? Because I just realized in the course of writing it that that what I was writing wasn't necessary. So yeah, most of open source is just like collaboration and like reviewing other people's code and discussion and checking, checking other people's code and making sure that it checks out and it's cool. And yeah, it's a very social thing. It's about people. That's what open source is. Open source is about people first and code second. Yeah, so hope you all enjoyed this. I definitely enjoyed this. Maybe I'll do it again sometime. In the meantime, I'm going to go watch Sam's stream. I'm going to see what he's up to. Should be interesting. All right, thanks to everyone for watching, and have a wonderful evening.